Don't you upset Daddy?
This is science. If we happen...
I'm fucking talking here! This ain't a charity! This is business! Business don't mean shit without the law.
Other in the name of God in the midst and hearts of little children.
Property don't mean shit without a threat of violence.
Who would die for the children?
The threat of my brutal neck would put the red round here. What is it?
Cut down. Well, what do you think?
Experience has taught me one truth about the human limits of terror and pain.
Which is?
There are none.
Hey, it's okay. You can come out now, I promise. That was a terrifying look at the Outlast trials, and if it scared you, well, I've got bad news. That's just kicking off a big, huge block of horror games right here on IGN Fan Fest. I'm Max Scoveland. For the next little while, I will be your guide, your medium, your exorcist, and the person to call if there's something strange in the neighborhood, like maybe backyard clowns. Did you know that in a 2022 study of nearly 1,000 adults, a little over 53% of them said that clowns caused them some level of discomfort? Think about it. And that was just regular clowns. You know what's even scarier? Clowns that go around killing people. And you know what's even scarier than that? Well, here's an informative video on the subject that may cause mild discomfort for around half of you. Take a look.
Wesker Newton, your truth bombardier here. We got us a kind of a clown invasion I thought only happened in Nevada deserts. The things a clown can do to a person's body, folks, it's depraved, it's disgusting, and often mighty creative. They got big shoes for a reason, folks! Don't make a ruckus! Those bat-eared bastards can hear you coming a mile away! Teamwork is life, amigos, and you have to stay alive to win!
Hell yeah! Shit!
You want to kill those clowns? Make like a Beverly Hills surgeon and give those real clown wives a nose job. Clowns are here. Clowns are now.
Came quickly. The rot and fear bloomed. Pestilence claimed the land, the crops, the animals. Our thriving community withered. Death came. And so we ran, seeking refuge in the forsaken lands of Luna Nova. I have protected our village from the creatures that would devour us. But my time as the warden must end. You have been chosen. Reap the harvest. End the hunt.
That was a look at killer clowns from outer space and horror stories, a harvest hunt right here on the Fan Fest 2024 Halloween in February Horror Spooktacular. We're still kind of workshopping that title. Probably should have figured out what we're calling it before we started recording. Anyway, coming up next, there will be blood. Not like the Paul Thomas Anderson movie. The name of the game is actually Blood. It's got a hashtag in there. I'm not sure if the hashtag is silent. Anyway, I think the trailer will probably explain it better. Drink it up.
This trailer is about inexplicable enigmas found in hashtag Blood. What you are about to watch is not a cartoon, but a hand-drawn video game. Tonight, we bring you the captivating story of the town of Carpentersville, a seemingly placid place plagued by a series of inexplicable events and loved ones gone missing. But for newcomers Becky Brewster and her father David, the town offers a fresh start at a new school and a job at the headquarters of tech giant Perch. As the Brewsters settle into their new lives, the ordinary collides with the paranormal, and Becky is thrust into an underworld of darkness, awakening a primeval menace and a calling she was born for. Vampire hunting. It's a tale that unfolds on phones, in dungeons, at the mall, a taqueria, and the business end of a hockey stick named Brenda. An ancient corruption is seeping through the very foundations of society. Dark influences permeating the internet, aided by her motley crew of friends and the high school... The high school janitor? Really? Becky brings the fight to evil. But who's behind it all? Can Becky stop them? Will she solve the riddles hidden within that strange cookbook? What is the mega multiverse? And who's driving this bus anyway? It's a race against time and technology with the fate of Carpentersville hanging in the balance. If you or anyone you know believes they can aid Becky in her quest to save Carpentersville, we invite you to please wishlist now.
Landline? Where the hell is it coming from? Hello?
Was it my hat, Andrew?
Is
Is that why you didn't let me in today? Into my house?
What? No, it's just,
My husband and I own a small private apiary in Coringaches, and I just thought I'd stop by to see some of my tenants, and I shouldn't have worn the hat.
No, it's okay. I just wanted everything to be perfect for the inspection, and...
So you let me in next time?
I mean, we have
You
to.
let me in?
But yeah, of course.
Oh,
come on.
wonderful. Yes, they let me in. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
That was a look at Blood, and Janet DeMornay is a slumlord and a witch. I love it when video games have titles that sound like metal bands or mean rumors that people wrote on the walls of junior high school bathrooms. I don't know what kind of middle schoolers are calling each other slumlords. Maybe they just heard it somewhere and they just thought it sounded like a good insult. It is a good insult, even if you don't, rent property. Up next on the IGN Fan Fest 2024 Haunted Schnapps Tasting Tour of the Damned, two games that delve into some of the most horrifying places a human being can go. A Scottish offshore oil rig in the 1970s and the dark web of the pre-Y2K internet. It's dial-up. See if you can guess which of these games is which.
the dark web. You will stream. You will watch. You will follow. Sacrifice yourself. What is inside of you? Cry. Bleed. Stream. 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 Stream your death.
When I got pitched the story of like, you're going to be on an oil rig in the 1970s with no opportunity to kind of like contact the mainland or all that, I was like, I want to play it, but if I can participate to create it, that's even better.
My background's in level design, and the reason why Stillwater Deep excited me so much was because it is essentially one big game level. So the way we started making the BOD is literally blocking things out in the editor and seeing how big things turned out to be. We started quickly to find out that we needed quite a large oil rig for our game to make it work as a playable area.
Rob like basically just gave me the controller and said, okay, play the game and like see what you feel.
One innovation that we made was a piece of feedback from our creative director, John McCormack, where he encouraged us to put in lighting into our levels, into our blockout levels, that was similar to what we intended in the final game. This is because when you're in the dark, you see the environment differently. You pick out different things. You pick out the contrast between depths rather than forms in the environment. It's really important to play the game, even at a blockout stage, in the same way that the player will experience it. Thankfully, there are some huge structures in the North Sea that we could take inspiration from. So we were looking at even archives of blueprints of oil rigs and things. We were looking at how they're constructed, the types of oil rigs, like semi-submersibles and tension leg platforms and things like that.
Another thing we tried to play a lot on the level design side was to have more destruction happening the more you go through scenes in the game. And that means that some area that you already have seen is now blocked, but some other areas that you could have gone through in the early scenes are now open.
As the game progresses, we really wanted the player to experience a transformation in the play space, so they could return to areas that they'd previously been in. They could see that what was previously a very human place, like a canteen or a crew lounge, would, when you return to it, have elements of horror, have elements of change. When you do have an environment that is used multiple times at multiple time periods, it becomes very, very difficult to make modifications to that environment, because you then have to change the level in 3 different states. So something even as simple as moving a piece of furniture would take multiple iterations and a lot of work to get right. For example, we've got several scenes where you go down the legs of the rig into the pontoons under the waves. And we thought that was an incredible thing to be in these kind of submarine structures with the waves beating above, and you're very alone down there. That pulls into so many horror signifiers.
There's like a sense of like, I don't know, everything feels big and you feel so small and like you could slip up and fall like at any minute. There's like a lot of different fear that we were able to use, like for example the claustrophobia with like, for example at one point we are like stuck into a pipe maze with something that is going around you and kind of like chasing you.
That idea of all these different horror things of isolation, of submechanophobia and thalassophobia and things like that. We really wanted you to feel like you were Kaz McCleary in the North Sea.
What I like about Kaz is that he feels like a real character. He's like a middle-aged man in his 40s. He's not that athletic anymore. He's swearing a lot, but at the same time it makes sense because everything around him is crazy, and it always feels weird to me when in games the character don't react or don't have a voice. It kind of like breaks the immersion for me. Whereas Kaz, like all his reactions feel real and feel like what I would do in his situation.
It's exceptionally hard to make a horror game because you're so into it all the time. You're so aware of the clockwork that makes it all happen that you sometimes forget that there is horror there. And so experiences that we were quite blasé about, we would send those off to internal and external playtesters. And in some cases, they'd be recording themselves on a webcam. There was one moment we got one of these playthroughs back and they just stopped playing and put their heads in their hands and just had to take a few minutes because they were so freaked out, which was a wonderful moment. That's where you know you're getting the horror right. When I see people talking about their wishes for a game with a brave narrative that believes in itself, I want them to feel like this is that game, something that is an experience that they will never forget.
Welcome back to Return of the Living IGN Fan Fest, House of 1,000 Horror Games. Legally, I don't think we can call it a House of 1,000 Horror Games because it's not actually a house, and there aren't actually that many horror games inside of it. Now, our final trailer is going to give us a look at Outbreak Island, which is relatively scary, but an island really isn't the worst place for an outbreak. Kind of a natural quarantine zone. I feel like Outbreak Kissing Festival or Outbreak All-You-Can-Eat Buffet are both much worse, grosser problems. Maybe they're going to do a whole trilogy. Anyway, here is some disgusting exposure to Outbreak Island, and on that note, I'm gonna go eat as much lunch as I can and then head on down to the Kissing Festival. I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.
Hi, I'm Alex Lee, voice actor for Solo Leveling's Sung Jin-woo, and you're watching IGN Fan Fest.
What's up, everybody? Joshua Yale here, and if you are also a big comic book fan like me, then you're probably super stoked for 2024 because there are so many cool comics coming out, like the new comics for Deadpool and Spider-Punk, and a huge milestone for Miles Morales. And here to tell us all about it is the writer of all these comics, Cody Ziegler. What's up, Cody?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you. You're writing comics featuring 3 different characters who are currently getting the limelight, thanks to the movies. So what's it like to write these characters when so much attention is on them?
It's definitely not good for my nerves, but I think I've conquered that fear at this point. But it's truly a blessing. Like, I love all these characters. Like, I grew up reading Deadpool. Like, I read every single thing that he was in when I was in college. Miles, when he first came out, I guess at this point, 12 years ago, I still remember taking my roommate being like, "There's a black Spider-Man. We have to go to the comic book shop," and driving in, buying I think he had like the first 3 issue condensed into one like special and buying that. And then, I was also like a young punk kid growing up. So playing in punk bands and finding out there is a black punk Spider-Man and being able to write that was like, I could not have asked for like a better trio of characters to like put my little fingers on.
Awesome. It feels like you were born to write these 3 characters. But let's run through them, starting with Miles Morales. He's hitting a landmark 300 issues. And as we see from the cover for that issue. He certainly made a lot of enemies over the years. So is Miles in big trouble? Like, what do you have in store for us for this big issue?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of chickens coming home to roost for this point. One of the benefits of Miles being around for so long and having so many talented writers is that he has a really, really cool rogues gallery, and this is definitely his foray into having to face multiple of those. So, I think if you're a fan of the Sinister Six, you'll enjoy this iteration of these characters and how they play into Miles's life, and also you got some fun cameos I don't want to spoil that sort of pop up and help Miles. So it was very fun writing 60 issues, or 60 pages of an issue, but also stressful because I was like, how is this going to work? And it did work out. We got a nice collection of some really, really talented artists from Miles's history. It's cool, like seeing all those names on a book that we all wrote together. So very, very excited. I'm also very excited for people to read this and see all sort of the fun action we sort of cooked up for this.
I'm curious to get your take on this. Obviously, everybody knows Spider-Man Peter Parker, but what would you say is the defining characteristic that sets Miles apart from Peter?
One, I mean, obviously he's younger and he's a Black Latino kid, but I think the big thing is that just his sort of family dynamic is so different. Most of Miles' supporting cast, including his family, know that he is Spider-Man. So he has that support system that I think Peter doesn't have sort of innately. If you're having a bad day at school and you got your butt kicked by Scorpion, you can call your mom and dad and have them sort of talk you through it, which adds a unique perspective to it. And also I think it sort of adds to that, Miles is a teen, and I think a really important thing for me growing up was my parents were there for me in such unique ways, and we're really a strong family unit. And I think that's something that helps separate Miles from Peter and a lot of the other Spider people is that his family not only supports him doing superhero stuff, but they sort of guide him, and he doesn't really keep it a secret from them. He's very, very open with them, and there's a level of trust I think that's sort of innate to their relationship that I think helps separate him from Peter. And a lot of the Spider people in some pretty big defining ways.
Let's move on to Deadpool. You're writing Deadpool's solo series with a brand new issue #1. That's huge, no pressure. And you did say that you were a huge fan of Deadpool growing up. So why is he one of your favorites? And what is it like getting to start a brand new Deadpool series?
Again, a little nerve wracking. You're like, oh man, there's so many good runs before me. Even Wong's run before me was so fantastic. The idea of doing a rom-com Deadpool is such a unique take, but he was the first character that I read that was I didn't know that you could be funny in comics. I thought you had to be very serious. So reading however many issues I read of this guy who was sort of a goofball, but also balancing that out. They have this sort of serious runs that he goes into. It was just really sort of formative to my creative sense and my comedic timing growing up. And when I got asked to write a short for him last year, and then eventually from that short being asked to write a full run for him, it was a dream come true. And I'm excited to sort of explore that character, without getting too sidetracked by it. But I really find myself drawn to that 70% comedy, 30% drama. And I think Deadpool's a pretty perfect character for that, honestly.
You're writing a new Spider-Punk 4-issue limited series, and it's a follow-up to your Spider-Punk series from 2022. And the one key difference actually for Spider-Punk in the movie, Across the Spider-Verse, is that he's British there, but he's American in the comic books, right? So how do you reconcile that very significant difference?
Yeah, I think this definitely when having multiverses help. I think if we're Earth 138, the movie one is 138B for British. So I think that's the main delineation. But me and the creative crew, particularly the artist Justin Mason, we were huge fans of the whole world when we first made it, and we were even bigger fans of the world once the Hobie appeared in the Spider-Verse movie. So we decided to come into this one with what can we do that sort of retains the thing that we really enjoyed with our first run, it's unique to our voice, but also implement some of the things that we thought were really, really cool about Hobie's design in the Spider-Verse movie. So this second run that we're doing is sort of a amalgamation of both styles, with Justin still doing his thing, but also taking some of the cool flavoring that they came up with Hobie and Spider-Verse.
One more question before we have to go, but all these characters, they're rebels. What do you see as their common factor?
Oh, that's a really great community. That's a great question, but community, what drives them together. A big through line for this first one, for the first series was, the idea of community policing themselves, and Hobie Spider-Punk trying to find his place in the world. And this second series, a lot of seeing that community being built. What's it like once you defeat the Empire, and now you have to actually sort of like run the place. And a lot of it is like, a lot of mutual aid, a lot of like looking after one another. And that's like a very important role for them, is that like they are definitely like, they're punks and stuff, and they fight the system and they hate sort of what the status quo is. But all of it is all built out of like a love for the community and trying to do the best for everyone that's part of that community.
That sounds so cool. I really, you gave me kind of like the warm fuzzies there. I think that's a great note to end on. Well, thank you, Cody, for getting us pumped up for more Deadpool, more Spider-Punk, and the big milestone for Miles Morales. Milestone? Get it? No. Okay, sorry. I'll stop. Actually, I won't stop, because I've got another peek into the future about Marvel's big crossover event. Now I am here with writer Jed MacKay, who's ready to have Marvel's heroes take a bite out of crime. Or maybe they're the ones who are going to get bit, because in this crossover event called Blood Hunt, the Avengers are going up against a unified force of vampires. What's up, Jed?
Not much, just get ready to talk about vampires here.
Cool, me too, let's do it. So like, all the vampires in the Marvel Universe have come under one banner, and they're known as the Blood Coven. So who's running the show, and what does the Blood Coven want? What is Blood Hunt about?
Well, that's something that kind of remains to be seen. So then, the answer might surprise you. This is a situation where, night has fallen when it was not expected, and with the night comes the vampires. And our heroes are outnumbered, they're outgunned, and we are seeing them really being put on the back foot, which is not a position they're comfortable in. As far as, the biting happening, I think we're starting off with a lot of heroes getting bitten.
This event is being marketed as the bloodiest event in Marvel Comics history, and there will be special red band editions, is this right, with extra pages full of explicit and bloody content? I've never heard of that happen before, so just how bloody and explicit and violent are you going to get here?
It gets pretty gnarly. It was an idea that came about from one of the Marvel retreats, and they ran with it. And so, you'll have your usual standard comic on the stands, but also being released will be a poly-bagged red band version where we have some extra pages or switching out some panels where we have Pepe just kind of, going crazy. He's reveling in the ability to just kind of go off the leash and make a real horror event.
So on the cover to Blood Hunt, I see some Marvel heavy hitters. You've got Thor, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, but looming larger than any of them is, of course, Blade, who's obviously going to play a big part in any Marvel story that's got vampires in it. I've been reading his comics for a while. He's been hunting vampires for a long time, but what makes Blood Hunt such a significant challenge for him?
Well, this is one of those things where, Blade is always going after vampires his whole existence. And that's, private war has, largely remained private. Now, for the first time, we're seeing the entire world being afflicted with this vampire menace. So you could say on one hand, this is Blade being proved right. And on the other, we're going to see what happens when the, Blade, the Vampires Hunters Crusade suddenly affects everybody. We've got the Avengers in there. We've got Doctor Strange in there. We've got, the Moon Knight characters in there from the books that I write, as well as, Miles Morales, Spider-Man's in the main book. We're going to see Dracula, of course. You don't get Blade without Dracula. And as well as Brielle Brooks' Bloodline.
Bloodline, that's Blade's daughter, right? So she's part of the story. What can you tell us about Bloodline? And is she going to be spending some quality father-daughter time, sticking vampires with Dad?
We're going to see her put through her paces. I think it's going to be exciting. We're going to see some changes in that relationship, and we're going to see that relationship tested, as well as relationships between other heroes, given that they're in such a state of crisis.
Forgive me, let's get really nerdy about this. Vampires are dangerous to the average person, but when you think about it, their powers seem to pale in comparison to someone like Thor or Captain America or Captain Marvel, who can light up like the sun. Then there's Vision, who is a synthezoid. What does he have to be worried about? Although I did see on one of the covers, his face is being ripped off, so maybe he does have a little to be worried about. But yeah, how are you making the vampires a threat to Marvel's heavy hitters?
Well, we see pretty early on that whoever is orchestrating this whole, vampiric attack, they've taken the Avengers into account. Because if you're going to try to take over the world, you got to deal with the Avengers. So we're going to see essentially the Vampire Avengers, a group, as you mentioned before, called the Blood Coven. So they're a group of, super vampires who are to normal vampires as the Avengers are to normal people. and we're going to see them come into conflict pretty early, which is going to be really exciting. Pepe came up with all these great designs for these new characters. They're very cool, so that's going to be what puts the Avengers on their feet, and we'll see how they deal with that.
Yeah, I'm curious, as you were coming up with the cast for this, obviously it's featuring characters you're writing in other books, but when you were running through the roster, do you have some examples of heroes you thought who might have an advantage when fighting vampires versus some who were probably in over their heads?
Sure. And I mean, you look at the Avengers, a lot of them have abilities that are, it's extremely difficult for vampires to deal with. Specifically Scarlet Witch, who, currently possesses the Dark Hold, which itself has the Montesi formula, which is the spell that can kill all vampires on the planet. Similarly, Doctor Strange had cast that previously. So with the vampires trying to take over the world, these are obviously people that are going to be high up on their hit list.
One last question before we go. What aspect of Blood Hunt would you say has you the most excited for readers to experience when it comes out?
I mean, it's pretty simple. The art is incredible. You have Pepe Larraz, who is one of the top comic book artists at this point in time, working at the top of his game, and it's just super exciting to see those pages come in. I think people could be really excited to just see how incredible this looks. See these vistas of terror unfolding in a comic book.
Well, thank you, Jed, for getting our blood pumping for the Blood Hunt crossover event. I'm super staked to read it.
Well, I'm staked for you to read it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And thank you to everyone at home. Stick around IGN for more comics, vampires, and comics about vampires.
IGN Fan Fest 2024.
Welcome to Fan Fest. Thank you. Good to be here.
Everybody ready?
Thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely.
Join us for exclusive new looks at some of the coolest pop culture properties on the planet. Dune 2.
The sequence where Paul rides the sandworm, just extraordinary. Couldn't have been done on green screen.
The Walking Dead.
I just found out that he's alive.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, we're ready.
Street Fighter 6. Brawlhalla. Godzilla Kong. WWE 2K24.
My story's full of ass whooping.
Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, trying out cursing.
And because this is Fan Fest, we're asking the best questions that only you
We've got another fan question.
could ever dream of.
Who is your favorite co-star to play off of?
Why are you trying to start a fight?
Fan Fest 2024 kicks off February 19th right here on IGN.
Nice try, IGN. What's up, everybody? I'm Damon Hatfield, and I'm here with Justin Hartley, the executive producer and star of the brand new CBS show, Tracker. We're here to talk about the show and also find out just how good Justin's detective skills really are. Welcome to Fan Fest, Justin. So, first of all, tell us, what is Tracker all about?
Starts off, we tell the story about him being a kid and his parents, who are professors at Berkeley and are obviously raising him, and his dad becomes increasingly more and more paranoid. Government conspiracies, people are trying to kill us, we got to get the hell out of here. So he takes the whole family off the grid and they become survivalists, and he teaches them all these skills: hunting, shooting, tracking, all kinds of stuff. And cut to later, he's an adult and he uses all of those skills, lives in an Airstream, tours around the country seeking rewards. Like, see, they'll get a reward like 30,000 for a missing whatever, or a missing kid or whatever. And Coulter will go and use those skills to help find the missing person.
It's sort of an unusual job, though, isn't it? Sounds cool. It is cool, actually.
All right, we're going to test some of Justin's detective skills here. We've got some wanted posters. Wanted posters from a few famously hard to find characters. We'll see how you would.
I'm gonna be absolutely terrible.
How you would track the. I think you're gonna be great.
No, I'm gonna be terrible.
These are softballs. We'll start with one of the most elusive men of all time, Waldo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is he? How would you track this character down?
If you were like at Christmas time at a football game in Philadelphia, it might be hard to find because a lot of people wear the Santa Claus stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that would be easy to find. You just open up your eyes and take a look. You'd be able to find him.
Okay, so we thought we'd start with the easy one first here.
My pop culture is not great.
I think we're about the same age.
Okay,
you should know who this is. Carmen Sandiego.
Okay.
Master Thief.
Yes.
How would you locate Carmen Sandiego?
I would probably look for some of the best restaurants in town.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
You think she has like inexpensive taste?
I believe she probably has it. Yeah. Exactly.
She steals like monuments.
Yeah.
Like in the computer game, she's like, well, she's stolen Big Ben.
Oh yeah, just go look for Big Ben. You'd be better off finding Big Ben then,
it's
right?
harder for...
Start with Big Ben, harder to find a person.
Look for Big Ben instead.
She might be hanging on to it.
Okay, this one is a little, we're gonna throw you a little bit of a curveball here. This is Bigfoot,
okay,
AKA Sasquatch.
Okay.
I haven't heard of Skunk Ape. I haven't heard of that nickname. So you're getting into sort of like animal tracking territory.
Yes. That looks like one of my uncles. I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Is your uncle Bigfoot? Was this your uncle?
Well, let me see the face.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be. That might not be. That might be him.
Well, then you just,
yeah. I just knock on ring the doorbell.
That could be an easy one then.
I don't know what you'd have to spend some time in the. You'd have to spend some time in the woods to find.
You'd have to.
Yeah, and maybe up in a tree. Maybe up in a tree and look down. Maybe get it. You know what I mean?
Stay downwind.
Yeah, just downwind. Yeah.
Okay, just a couple more. We've got the Hamburglar.
Okay.
Known for stealing.
Yeah.
Hamburgers. I don't know where where does he go? Where does he take the hamburgers?
I mean, maybe maybe something we don't know about him. He's got a soft spot and he's feeding children. So you would.
Well, that's just, I mean,
there's a lot of hamburgers.
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
A lot of hamburgers. He's got a smile on his face. He looks like he's doing this thing. You know what I mean? He's not, he's not eating them all himself, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, because he's reasonably healthy. It looks like he's in.
Or it looks like maybe, look at his shirt. He might be taking him back to prison.
You think
his buddies?
Maybe that's true. He broke out just to bring food back to his friends. Yeah, I like it. Hamburger, not such a bad guy after all. All right, last one. How would you find this individual, the Invisible Man?
That would be tough. I would think about. Let's see. I think about all the places that I would like to be invisible.
Okay. Well, okay.
Or unseen. go to and be unseen.
Yeah.
You know.
So for
fly on a wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like pitcher's mound at the World Series, like standing next to, ninth inning, standing just watching.
Yeah. He's also going to put off a scent, so you could also have to maybe use your scent tracking.
He's going to put off a scent, okay, yeah.
That's it. Well, thanks for being good sports.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all the time we have. Thank you for coming by, Justin. You can check out Tracker on CBS and Paramount Plus starting February 11th, and you can also catch a week of IGN Fan Fest beginning February 19th.
Hey everybody, this is Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and you're watching Fan Fest, the best place to be.
What's up, everybody? My name is Joshua Yale, and as a lifelong fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I was blown away by The Last Ronin, which follows the last surviving turtle on his dark and bloody quest to finally take down the Foot Clan. But as it turns out, The Last Ronin was not the last turtle story, because it ends with 4 little baby turtles. Wonder what's gonna happen to them? Well, I'm getting super hyped to find out in the sequel, The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution, where we meet the next generation of turtles, all grown up and ready to rock. So who better to talk to about it than the co-creator of Ninja Turtles and the co-writer of The Last Ronin 2, Kevin Eastman. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, how are you? Nice
Great.
to be here.
Great, yeah, thank you. It's great to talk to you again. I actually met you at Comic-Con also to talk about The Last Ronin 2. That was last year. When I met you, I actually gave you my graphic novel here and asked you to sign it. But what I did not realize is that you actually sketched in it for me. I didn't actually notice that until you had already left the room. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. This is now my most prized possession.
Well, that's really nice. Thanks. It's something I started doing many years ago. Where I feel like the remark or a little doodle of sketch makes it a little bit more personal, and it's not just somebody that scrawled a signature in your book. It's sort of a little bit more of a memento. So it's glad to do it. It's good fun.
Thank you. It's very special. It was actually great for me, but terrible for the rest of our crew because I went around and told everybody, did you see what Kevin did for me? Did you see what Kevin did? Okay. But enough about that. It is always a pleasure to talk to you because I know you always bring the goods. And this time, I mean that literally, because you have given us an amazing piece of art from inside The Last Ronin 2, where the new turtles are jumping into action alongside a woman in a purple costume. Looks very familiar. Can you break down what moment we're seeing here?
Yes, taking a step back and even looking at the idea of doing a part 2, do a sequel, was something that we really questioned and really hadn't planned when we started doing Last Ronin. So we found a place that we wanted to stay and tell stories for as long as we could. And so the evolution of the new turtles and this, and what you're seeing here specifically is takes place 16 years after Last Ronin 1 ended. Casey Marie Jones is the woman in the purple you see there with the half of a Casey mask on. And she's trained and become the sensei and general parent of the new turtles. They're going out on one of their first missions.
So I want to hear all about these new Ninja Turtles. And I know with the original four, they all have a very defining personality trait that people know them by. Donnie's brainy and Mikey's like silly. But what would you say, are the personality defining traits of this new generation of turtles?
Well, it's tough to know to not want to give you lots and lots and lots and lots of spoilers. One of the things that we did want to do was really update the characters. There's 2 male, 2 female turtle characters, and me and Tom trying to write what teenagers might think and, and say and do, especially set in the story takes place in the future. But it was really to come up with some familiar stereotypes of personalities and characters, but make them interesting and unique and something that we experience, and even talking with our kids or other kids that we meet at shows and stuff. So yeah, there's a nice cross section of different personalities. Much like the original Turtles, you want to have them always love their family, but not always like them. And so they might argue, they might spat, they might have disagreements. But when they need to work together as a team, it's the heart and soul of the family that always keeps them together. And that's always going to be the foundation of anything we do with Turtles.
So these Turtles look very different from the originals. Can you share how you came up with these designs? Because I'm seeing turtles of different silhouettes and different colors. Yeah, how did you come up with these?
It was tough, and it was one of those things that when you're following in the footsteps of something that works so well on so many levels, but it was one of those things also when you look back at the original creation of the shows, they all had a very similar look, a very similar style. It really wasn't until, say, some of the early episodes of the cartoons where we even did things like changing the color of the bandanas and things like that. But with this, I had a specific idea. Tom and I had a very specific idea. We wanted them to be different species of turtles, so they would have different physical attributes, and that would translate into their height and weight and even personality. And so I gave some sketches, a whole lot of reference to the amazing Ben Bishop, and said, give me some of your first thoughts. And so Ben really crafted some beautiful silhouettes and some unique designs. And it was, going through the process of seeing all these, quote unquote, naked turtles, and then wanting to put outfits on them and play dress up and making them work logically and sensibly of what they might be. But it was fun. We were very pleased. It was a lot of work getting to something that I felt worked as a unique look for them.
It goes without saying that The Last Ronin has been a big hit, a huge hit. It's like constantly on like the bestsellers list. But as being nerds, we immediately start dreaming of it becoming a video game, a movie, a TV show. We already know there's a video game in the work. But in the realm of movies, I'm not sure if you saw, but director Zack Snyder recently professed his love for Ninja Turtles, and he showed off his classic Mirage TMNT comics. So what are your thoughts on the last Ronin movie? And would Zack Snyder being involved interest you at all?
Oh, most definitely. Absolutely. No, I've been certainly a fan of Zack Snyder. We've gotten to be friends over the years. We've met on a couple of different projects that never got off the ground, but I feel like the best part of it became, we got to be friends. He's a fan, a very solid fan of this genre, these, whether it be movies or comics. He's a very serious heavy metal comic fan. He'd be an amazing director. And I thought it was a real treat that he pulled out some of his original comics for an interview he did recently. It's interesting when we looked at the opportunities to continue telling stories in the Roninverse. A movie was definitely a natural, something we thought would be wonderful to pursue. Paramount and their decision to do an amazing movie with Seth Rogen with the Mutant Mayhem Project, which I thought was absolutely laugh out loud, hilariously funny, beautifully done. And there's going to be more in that universe. It seemed natural that Last Ronin would evolve as a video game. It seemed like we could hit all of the attitudes and the action and the intensity of the series in a video game format. And we've seen a lot of development on it. I could not be more excited. And that when you look at it in the comic book, you see flat surface, a level, a plane, a building, you see this part of it. The video game, suddenly we can go around the corner and we can go, we can see all the rest of it. And the designers and the artisans that are bringing the video game to life are fans as well. And it feels like some of the stuff's been ripped right out of the pages of the comic book. They're going all the way in and then some. So it's looking really excited. I'm excited for fans to see more of what they're doing on the video game.
Okay, Kevin. Well, I cannot wait to read The Last Ronin 2. So when does it come out?
Man, I wish it was tomorrow. So I'm excited for everybody to see it. But March 6th is the official date that it's coming out. And we're excited that it's going to be full format, 40 pages an issue. It's going to be bi-monthly. But yeah, I can't wait for fans to read the first issue. So March 6th, be there, be square, and I can't wait.
Well, I have no intention of being square. Thank you so much for the information, Kevin. And for everyone at home, if you want to keep up to date on The Last Ronin 2 as it's coming out, keep it locked on IGN.
This is a new beginning. A fresh start. Welcome to Spiderwick.
Whoa. This town is full of stories. Some are darker than others. What kind of creature is lurking inside Spiderwick? What?
Magical creatures are real.
How is this happening? The world would be a better place without humans. That's why I'm going to consume them. And I am starving.
Find the invisible world. It's the key to save everyone. But we're just kids. That's why you can succeed.
Hi, we're the cast of Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're watching Fan Fest on IGN.
Yeah!
Party, party.
Do it. Do it!
We've all seen enough death.
Okay, Scissors, where are you hiding? Rock, you're behind the lamp in Iceland. Rock, you're behind the lamp in Guam. Okay, Rock, you're right in front of me now.
Aww.
Computer, enhance. Found you. Found you. Found you. What is going on with me today? Whatever. At least nobody was around to hear that. Hello, airline. I need 2 tickets to Paris, please. No, coach. 1 carry-on. Aisle seat is fine. I am not comfortable sitting in the emergency exit row. Yes, I'll wait for the survey. Very satisfied.
The best thing about you, Benny the dog, is that you're so healthy and you're gonna live forever.
I know where this is going, and it's not going to affect me.
Later.
Benny! Benny! Gotcha!
Hey, yeah, it's me. Scissors or whatever.
I see you found my body double. Or should I say, one of them. I hired hundreds to throw you off my trail. Some are quite convincing, and some didn't understand the instructions.
Where are you?
Maybe I'm behind a window. Or maybe I'm in that building. Or maybe I'm near the bicycle next to Rock.
Aww.
Give up, Paper. I got the latest tricks. And you're just a crusty old dinosaur.
I'll never give... Wait, did you say dinosaur?
Yeah, I'm with Rock now.
It's dinosaur. You know it's dinosaur. Why is this a thing?
Hey everybody, we're the cast and producers of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live.
And you are watching IGN Fan Fest.
Hey, Auntie. She's not out there. And the hood is still up on the Chevelle. All her tools are still out. That's not like her. She said she was gonna go get some parts, but I don't think she's been back home.
Straight to voicemail.
That's the third time today. I'll call Melanary. Voicemail.
Okay. I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation for this.
I don't know, Auntie. I have a bad feeling that something's wrong.
Hey everyone, we're here with the stars of The Equalizer, Lea de Leon Hayes and Lorraine Toussaint. Welcome. Lea and Lorraine, both of your characters ended last season in a pretty dangerous situation. Let's talk about where you were and where you are now.
I mean, everyone in the last episode of season 3 ended up in a really dangerous position. And I think, at least for my character Delilah, it's been wonderful to see this trajectory that she's been on since season 1. She kind of started out as this angsty and fiery teenager with a lot of attitude. And as the series has progressed, she's matured a lot and also has found a place to put that passion and that fieriness that she has. It's wonderful because not only does Delilah get to kind of have all the things that she's practiced start to translate in person, but also we get to see Aunt Vi and her work as a team, which is always lovely because, as you know, I love me some Lorraine Toussaint. So even though our characters are going through it in that last episode of season 3, it still was always a lot of fun because I got to work with Lorraine. I love you. I also know that you are the most passionate woman I have ever met. I know you can do anything you want to.
No doubt. I can honestly say that the family dynamic reads so well because it's true. I love me some Lea. And I love Queen. And so when the three of us get together, it's kind of effortless. In those family scenes, and there's a kind of shorthand and a kind of ease that we have with each other that is the best of families. You see something different about her? No, she's just as beautiful as always.
It is significant that women of color make up the primary cast of The Equalizer, especially considering that the show truly focuses on the limitations of the law in helping marginalized groups. What does it feel like to work together on a set like this?
The great part about our set is that we do that in our stories and our narratives, but we're also doing it behind the camera. Our writers, Queen, our executive producers, they're really doing their best to walk that talk across the board on the Equalizer set. So that makes me really proud of what our particular set looks like. The face of our set is quite extraordinary.
Just having Queen and Lorraine, most of my scenes are with them, just two women who have blazed the trail for so many young Black artists. I mean, Lorraine was just talking about it the other day, or it might have been today, honestly. We were talking about how you were one of the first women to ever wear your hair in braids on network television.
I was wearing locks. Yeah, they were locks. They were bona fide locks.
Exactly.
On Law and Order.
What kind of a piggish attitude is that, counselor? Are you suggesting that my client was asking for it?
Lea, what was it like to be mentored by these incredible actors you're surrounded by?
So much of what I'm learning just comes from watching them and observing how they move, not just within scenes, or more so just how they are on sets and what their presence is and what they bring to just the environment and into our space. And then, of course, there's the actor part of me where I'm always watching in that way, too. But I think one of the most incredible things is just to see how generous they are as people. So, again, lots of learning in this past 4 years.
Well, Lea, you have fans here as well, because several people on our staff were very excited to be talking to the Doc McStuffins. What was it like to transition from that role to something like Delilah or even Angrboda in God of War?
Voiceover was such a different thing, something I didn't even know actors could get into. I mean, I was 9 at the time, so all of it was very new and fresh. The difference between film and TV versus voiceover, and then versus gaming and mocap work and what that would entail. So if anything, it's just showed me that you just can't limit yourself.
You'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them.
Speaking of having a lot of options, in the show we've watched as Delilah trains with Robin, the equalizer, and Vi, meanwhile, brings a more diplomatic energy. She can talk through most situations and solve problems that way. I mean, Lorraine, what do you make of the different approaches Vi and Robin take to the mission to help others?
I think the intention of the show is to really be of service to the community. Robin is doing it in her way, and we're watching Delilah and her generation, the way she addresses it in her generation at school and with her peers. She is of service also to her community, and Vi is the same way. You know, we in this family, we're on people that look away. We're on people that turn a blind eye. We see a problem, we get in there, and if we can help, we're gonna get into it and try to make it a better place. So we try to leave things better than we found it.
Well, Leia, each woman, Robin and Vi, they seem to represent maybe a different path Delilah could follow. Where do you see her going in the future?
I think I can see for Delilah not only her following in her mom's footsteps of wanting to, or being like this vigilante, but also taking it more seriously and using it as a career and something that she can really get into. But I can also see her going the route of starting with what's in front of her, starting with her peers, starting with her friends, talking about social justice issues in her community. Like, I see her more on the front lines of that, and then ultimately leading to maybe and hopefully somewhere down the line into her mother's footsteps as well.
Mom, hold on. Have you given any thought to what we talked about? Training me, how to defend myself, to do the things that you do.
Can we talk about this later?
I am unfortunately almost out of time, but one last question. What can we expect from Aunt Vi and Delilah in season 4?
Well, we're dealing with a lot of issues of truth and trust in this season, and what does it mean to be living truthfully, and what does it mean to be living a lie? We're really going to be pulling that apart, and there are going to be consequences to that examination of how we have been living. Have we chosen to live this way? Are we being forced to live in a particular way? What's the price of equalizing? And there's romance to it. There's romance all over the place. I think there's romance across the board, isn't there? We won't give it away, but there's romance in the McCall home.
Well, I'll guess what that means. Thanks so much, Leia and Lorraine. And for those of you who want a cut of the action, season 4 of The Equalizer is streaming now on Paramount Plus, and you can also catch it on CBS.
IGN Fan Fest kicks off now. Today's heavy hitters: Avatar: The Last Airbender, Godzilla Kong, Street Fighter 6, Invincible, please, and so much more.
Let's fly.
IGN Fan Fest starts right now.
It has been a hell of a journey. But everything ends someday.
The Discovery is my home, my family. We've always been able to find answers together.
Being a part of a crew, being where you need to be, when you need to be, that's Starfleet.
Last dance.
I shall follow your lead.
The greatest treasure in the known galaxy is out there. It's more important than you can imagine.
We're on a search for one of the greatest powers ever known.
It could be very dangerous in the wrong hands. This clue is the most important thing. We have to keep it safe.
Let's fly. My crew, the family I found in Starfleet, we made a pretty good team.
Hello and welcome to IGN Fan Fest, a massive multi-day celebration of all the stuff you love, powered by, yes, you, the fans. I'm your host, Akeem, along with Stella and Alan. Hey.
Hello, super excited. For the next 2 days, we're taking brand new looks at some of the biggest and best upcoming video games, movies, and TV shows, and talking to the people making them.
You can watch the whole thing on IGN and IGN's YouTube, as well as follow along on IGN's socials on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. No matter where you watch it, FanFest is going to be awesome. So, should we get into it?
I think we should. So let's kick things off right now with Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action adaptation of one of the most popular animated series of all time. Here we go.
We could go another way.
You're not serious. The creatures immerse you into the world that is Avatar.
There's no way you're getting me on that.
In the Avatar universe, almost all animals are hybrid creatures.
Otter penguin.
Shark squids.
Sky bison. A winged lemur.
Vegetable.
It's a fun detail that fans really love, that I really love. So we started with imagery from the animated series and said, okay, what are real world representations of these visual ideas? And from there, built this library of visual information and language that we would then use to inform the physical and the digital builds of all the creatures.
Appa. He is my best friend. Sorry, Katara.
Yep, yep! On screen, Appa is a flying 10-ton bison. Off screen, he is half back on a mechanical bull controlled by people to make him seem like he's moving.
I've had some of my best days on Appa. It feels like you're flying through the air, which is a childhood dream.
We try to keep as much live action as possible. One thing we wanted to stay true to is the silhouette of Appa as he's flying. So we use a manatee for the tail because of the way the manatee swims in the water. And then also we looked at the buffalo for the eyes and for the horn.
And on set, we had a full-size Appa head, but it has no emotion to it. Gordon did an amazing job just relating to this thing, and our VFX team did an amazing job of bringing that emotion to the character of Appa, so it matches with what Aang is doing in the scene.
You want to join us, Mama?
Momo is our very cute winged lemur who loves food and has some great banter with Sokka.
Bet you taste like chicken.
One of the biggest challenges with Momo was taking this creature that I loved the animated version of and making it feel real. So we reference a lot of different lemurs and monkeys for performance because we didn't want to lose all that personality.
We worked on his eye sizes because it's all about how emotive Momo can be.
We have a little furry ball that we use for reference, but the actors are acting with nothing else there, and Momo is completely created in the computer.
Badger Mole.
The Badger Mole, in our world, just a tennis ball, but Dio and Ian did an amazing job.
For the Badger Mole, we wound up going over to the bear because that would help us with the weight. And then also his mouth, because his mouth gets really close to camera. And we really wanted to articulate his mouth to make sure it was believable, even for like the gradation in his teeth, which was really fun.
The ostrich horse on set is actually a stunt vehicle, and there's a stunt driver underneath our actors that are on top of a saddle.
Ostrich horses are ridiculously cool. They have frenetic movements, but then also when he's walking, he needs to be pristine, but it needs to also have weight and feel heavy.
It's fun getting to see the world of the Avatar come to life.
I hope that fans will be super excited when they see it. Like, oh my God, no way.
That is one big birdie.
Audiences will love the characters, the emotional journey, the storyline, the epic action, the humor.
Please tell me that he's saying, "Welcome, friends."
That's not what it's saying.
But I have a feeling they're gonna love Appa the most. Or Momo. One of the two. That's what they always say.
Don't worry, kid. You don't have to do this alone. You have me, Tara, and a flying ball of fur. What more do you need? Really?
Now, that was a close look at Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series right here on IGN Fan Fest. Now, if you're hyped to find out more about that show, well, don't go anywhere because we'll be talking to the stars very shortly.
But first, one of the year's biggest movies will see two former enemies overcoming their differences and learning to peacefully coexist while also causing catastrophic amounts of property damage in the process.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just happy to see them getting along, even if it means we have to lose a couple of cities in the meantime. Anyways, here's Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire.
What's up, everybody? I'm Damon Hatfield on the line with the director of the upcoming MonsterVerse epic Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire, Adam Wingard. How's it going, Adam?
It's going great.
So, first of all, the correct pronunciation, we just established this. It is just Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire. The X is silent. Is that right?
That's right. You know, sometimes I call it GXK because it just sounds cool and it's easy to say. And we always refer to the last film as GVK. So it's just, people can say it however they want, though. But yeah, technically Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire. But you'll probably hear me in the middle of this interview call it Godzilla X Kong at some point.
Yeah, just in case anyone out there doesn't know, you also directed the previous film, Godzilla vs. Kong. And the end, the big battle at the end of that film, it was kind of a rock, paper, scissors situation where Godzilla beat Kong, Kong beat Mechagodzilla, and Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla. But Godzilla and Kong seemed to come to a mutual understanding and respect at the end of that film. So how's their relationship going into the New Empire?
Well, they definitely came to an understanding, but I think like the interpretation that I have at the end of GVK is that there's a truce, but it's an uneasy truce. You know, Godzilla acknowledges the fact that Kong saved the day there at the end, but really that exchange between the two titans, if there were subtitles going on when the monsters are looking at each other, Godzilla would say, all right, you know, like we're even for now, but don't let me catch you around here again. So where we leave that film and where we begin this one, Godzilla's still sort of the overseer of the surface world, and Kong is now, he's overlooking the Hollow Earth, the underworld. So you got Godzilla above, Kong below, and right now that's the state of things.
Well, in the trailers for this, we've seen Godzilla do something that we've never seen him before, just full-on sprinting towards the camera. And there was a big reaction to that really got the fans talking. Were you expecting such a big reaction to running Godzilla?
Well, that shot was actually the one of the very first things I pitched for this movie. That was, I'd sort of had a bunch of the set pieces in mind, the general story, some of the new characters, and that shot. And it's interesting because what you don't really realize is that, scale's a tricky thing to capture in these movies. And so much of it is about, the Titan's size. And, in general, you usually depict that from, very low angles, and you kind of accentuate the slow motion of the moment to project the illusion of scale. That usually makes something look bigger when it's moving slower through the frame and objects are falling very slowly. But with this film, Godzilla's not just a monster that we're looking at in awe all the time. So much of the Titan action is depicted at not just at the eye level of the monsters, but from their perspective. And if you were a monster battling, another monster, everything's going to look just like it does if I'm fighting somebody else. It's going to be moving fast, And Godzilla is sprinting more than he's ever sprinted before because this is his evolved form. He's athletic a little bit more in the leg areas, and so he does have a bit more of a capacity to haul ass. So.
Can you comment on Godzilla's new shade of pink?
Yeah, it's interesting because on the last movie, Godzilla versus Kong, it was really important to me to keep Godzilla consistent from King of Monsters so that there was a continuity in terms of whenever he's fighting with Kong, I wanted it to feel like the Godzilla versus the Kong that I wanted it to be part of the major drive of the story, why Godzilla's getting this new look. And the pink color itself, it's not random. Within the movie, there's actually a reasoning behind why he actually turns pink. It's not just like he evolves and for some reason the blue turns to pink, With that said, pink is my favorite color. Our editorial that we edit the movie in, it was covered with pink lights, and and generally I usually always have pink, kind of fairy lights in any room that I'm in. What
can you tell us about the new villain monster? A giant ape? Sorry, is it any relation to Kong?
Yeah, that's the Scar King, and he's a nasty guy. Like the influences in creating him is I wanted him to be this nefarious dictator Titan. Like what's interesting about him as a villain is because he's more in the ape category, similar to Kong, he has a bit more of a human intelligence and a human vibe, which means that his intentions are more human. So there's sort of almost more of an ego driving this as opposed to an animal force that just wants to destroy things. So, Scar King is attracted to power and control and all these negative traits that, a dictator might have. And I wanted a foe for Kong that almost like the anti-Kong, somebody who, could really, go toe to toe and outmatch him in terms of agility and those kind of things. And I took a lot of influence from, there's a 70s thriller movie called Emperor of the North, starring Lee Marvin and Ernest Borgnine. And the thing that always stood out to me is there's this amazing battle at the end of the film where Ernest Borgnine's got this chain that he's like swinging around, and and Lee Marvin's got an axe, and it's an awesome fight. That was kind of an inspiration I took into this. It's something I really wanted to see on a 300-foot scale.
Okay, it looks like Kong's getting an assist from humans with some sort of a mechanical glove on his hand. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the, as it's called in the toys, the Beast Glove. We were always trying to find ways to kind of evolve the characters, and Godzilla obviously has a major evolution. And with Kong, we were kind of inspired in terms of going in almost more of like an anime direction with adding this, huge mechanical power glove, as it's also called. And I think the Beast Glove is sort of a representation of that, where, as we've gone kind of like more wild tonally and more psychedelic. It's kind of given us license to push into these realms that, you know, I don't think you would have thought would be ever possible in a big mainstream, you know, King Kong movie, to see him wearing a mechanical glove on his arm. And so, you know, we're trying to maximize, you know, the tonal direction that we've gone in with things like that.
And finally, what can you tell us about this young ape that we see? There is, in King Kong's history, there's Mighty Joe Young, which is sort of a young version of Kong. Is this any relationship to that at all?
Well, this is Zuko, and otherwise known in the trailer as Baby Kong. I guess like the influence was always like the idea of like a Son of Kong type character. Like we wanted something, you know, like an interesting companion, you know, to the film and to Kong. And the movie kind of started with Zuko, and it really grew around the concept of what if Kong met this, you know, younger version of himself. I can't say Mighty Joe Young was, you know, something I was necessarily thinking of, but yeah.
Well, I'm super excited for this film. IGN fans know that I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I feel so spoiled right now. There's so much great Godzilla content coming out. Be sure to catch Godzilla Kong: The New Empire in theaters March 29th. Stick around for more Fan Fest.
Want the ultimate IGN experience? Check out IGN Plus. Members get exclusive deals and giveaways, ad-free browsing, unlimited tracking on IGN Maps, discounts at the IGN store and with IGN partners, and best of all, free games. Get 30 days of IGN Plus for just $1. Head to plus.ign.com.
IGN has the most thorough, easy-to-use, and high-tech maps out there, period. And by high-tech, we mean it. We've recently added features like personal notes that save to your IGN account and a region selection tool that lets you cruise around the biggest maps with ease. IGN Maps load faster with more markers than ever and are built for your phone as your constant companion to the biggest games. So start checking off markers for the games you are playing for free at IGN Maps today. Have you ever been stuck on the same quest for just way too long? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help. IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and of course, free. You can even track your progress with handy checklists if you go for 100%, just like we do. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy, and so much more. Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN.
The Cinefix Top 100. A list so secretive even we don't know what movies are on it or where they rank.
What do you mean you don't know?
Each episode will reveal one of the movies.
Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed. No, it was good. I liked it.
Talk about why it belongs and finally find out where it ranks.
Are you not entertained?
Are any of the movies we've shown here even on the list? I have no idea, and it drives me crazy. Join us as we find out on the Cinefix Top 100, Mondays starting July 3rd.
Why so serious?
Hey, I'm Stella Chung, and I'm so excited because today we get to speak with the cast of Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender. Joining me are Gordon Cormier, Gawain Dio, Ian Owsley, Dallas Liu, and Elizabeth Yu. Hi!
Hey!
Hello!
How's it going?
So, first question. What moments from the original series are you most excited to see in this version of the story?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I think like the bloodbending stuff with Hama would be really cool. The balance of like, I can do this, but I can do this, you know? That would be really fun to do as an actor.
I think I'm excited to potentially put on some Kyoshi Warrior armor. That would be cool. And then like later on, like maybe I get to be cool for a second, like use a sword, maybe. That'd be cool. Besides that, I mean, I'm excited to see Zuko with the hair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am too.
Yeah, you said before the interview that you've rewatched this 26 times?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the show 26 times. People are starting to say it's a problem. I call it more of a hobby.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
More like a lifestyle.
Yeah, a lifestyle.
If you will.
Yeah.
Something that I'd like to see is in book 3, Zuko versus Azula.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. That's an epic battle.
Yes.
With her blue fire and my regular old flame. But I have such a cool haircut in that, which is like the real character development.
Yes. Yeah. Amen.
But in our show, I think we get to tap into the Airbenders versus the Fire Nation, which is going to be exciting to see.
Piggybacking off of that, which of your character's traits were you most excited to bring to life for live action?
I mean, just being super happy almost all the time is really awesome, because like I could show up to set and just not have to get into character and just be myself. And that's like really sick. I mean, Aang, yeah, he goes like dark places for like 2% of the show. So like, it's just really cool, and I'm ready for people to see that.
I think something that I was really excited to bring to life was the comedic elements of Sokka. Like getting to eat a bunch of food too is pretty cool. I liked bringing that to life in the character. Like that.
Yeah, that was sick.
It's cool because Sokka's like actually has like a lot of range. He gets to feel like a lot of stuff in a way. He's like, when I was watching it like growing up, like kind of the more relatable one. Like obviously like I thought I was Zuko, but like in real life, I'm Sokka.
Oh. Yeah, so Elizabeth, you kind of play a mean character, but obviously everyone's so friendly with each other. How hard was it to get into character, you know, immediately off set and in set?
I had gotten a little bit of time to like be able to prep a little bit for the character. It was a big switch from my own personality. So I think it was like a lot of, we also had like an on-set like acting coach, Millie, who like really helped me figure out like how, like body language too. The costumes helped so much.
Yeah.
Like getting to like wearing like leather armor that was like molded to my body was, and so I had to like sit like this, and like my shoulder, like that totally helped me get into character. Yeah.
Have you used any of that like newfound body language to look mean like on the streets? Because you talk about being in New York, you gotta get a little pushy. Have you used any of that in real life?
No, I'm very like, I'm very like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I'm very like apologetic in real life. So I don't know, maybe it was like cathartic to be able to play that character because I'm so opposite in real life. So I guess I have like, it's like therapy.
Oh,
yeah, it's very therapeutic to be mean. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you've all seen the show. So did you get to talk to any of the original voice actors to get their input on the characters?
I got to speak. I got to speak with Dante Bosco. I had a few conversations with him. He said he was passing me the torch, and I don't think I really felt it until we had finished filming the series, and I gotten to really talk to him about my experience on the show and really becoming the character fully. But he was extremely supportive. He's such a great guy, and yeah, he's super supportive of our entire show and cast. So it was really nice to be able to speak with him.
Did he say there were any lines in particular he was excited to hear or see you say?
So although there wasn't a particular line that Dante Bosco was excited to hear, he really wanted me to make Zuko my own. So, there's Dev Patel and Dante Bosco, which are two inspirations. So actually he was hoping that, I could do my own thing, maybe grab some inspiration from him, some from Dev, and then, just make this big mash of my own Zuko.
Have you decided who this Zuko is going to be?
It's going to be my Zuko.
Oh. Wow, I saw a little bit of Zuko content.
It's mine.
My heart skipped too, I saw. This is hot, dude.
So, do you have any standout memories from when you were on set?
Oh.
Lots of memories in school with this dude.
I remember once I was shooting a really serious scene, and then I hear Gawandio and Ian in the background
Yes, this is so
Gordon, slay, right?
Wait.
So,
Wait.
You need to build it up better.
Yeah, wait.
Okay, I'll let you. You're good.
Okay.
You want to hit it? Yeah, go ahead.
So random. I think it was my doing. We started doing this like thing where we would just like hit like slay.
Where we would slay.
Where we would slay, and it would go along with the movement, like the slay with the hip. It's like a whole thing. So then we just started doing that a lot, and then me and Ian were in the background of a close-up on Gordon
crying.
We're like walking in a triangle, right? Like situation.
Yeah.
And we're trying to build morale because we're like low-key in a rush at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So Gawandio was like, wait, slay.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that's good.
Wait,
And
one
then
sec. Wait.
So it
Wait.
goes-
Let me say it.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll let you.
So me and Ian are in the back going, slay.
And I go, oh yeah, oh slay, slay. And we're like, Gordon slay, Gordon slay. And he goes,
I can't slay right now.
so serious. I can't slay right now.
And then eventually I hit the, slay. And then I completely screw up my crying scene, which we got. We got it.
We got it.
We got it.
It was great.
But I was too busy slaying on the first take.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is joining the Netflix family, but there are already some pretty powerful characters on the platform. So, the cast of Avatar have agreed to help me decide what kind of benders some of Netflix's most famous characters would be, based on their personalities, powers, or general vibe. Then we'll decide who has to shoulder the heavy burden of being the Avatar of original Netflix characters. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Wait,
Okay.
who's replacing me?
Millie Bobby.
Millie, don't take my job. I need this.
She's in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right, so the first character, Wednesday Addams.
Whoa. I feel like that's kind of a
quite
given.
obvious.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
What is
I
it?
don't
Is it
Earth,
fire?
obviously. No, I'm kidding. It's fire.
It's fire.
Yeah, it's fire.
Fire?
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Probably know how to like lightning bend and all that too.
Oh, wait.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Would she be a better firebender than Zuko?
Zuko, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, here's a hard one. What about The Witcher? Geralt.
Ooh. I also feel like that's quite obvious, no?
It's between two for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say it at the same time.
It's either water or air to me.
Water, air,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you think?
I was gonna say earth or air.
Okay.
Maybe we settle on air.
Maybe we settle on air.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll compromise.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's a
Air's
gentle
pretty
giant.
good. Yeah. All right, Luffy, One Piece.
Our boy.
Just so you know, we really love Anaki, and
Yeah,
he's like the coolest
amazing.
person ever.
Yeah.
Anaki, if you're watching this, we love you, man. You're
Shout out.
awesome. I want to claim Anaki. I think he's an airbender.
Yeah.
He's free-spirited.
The colors work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say air too.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
the one part of my family that's still here.
Oh.
You know, just not, you know.
He's just sailing.
Okay, so we'll move on to Sabrina Spellman.
Ooh. I think fire.
I kind of.
This is a hard one.
I want to claim her.
In a way.
Yeah, you want to?
I want to
All
claim
right,
her.
Lizzie claims her.
Okay.
She's like I feel like that like mystical like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did such a bad job.
I like the dance of the.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying.
Okay.
You look like you want to debate it.
I feel like
I know,
she could also be water though.
Yeah.
Because
And they
I
just
feel
ain't
like
got
it's
nobody on their
also very
squad.
like, you know.
I could see her specifically doing blood bending.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good point.
You always got to think
That's
of
really
like the chains on different.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay,
Yeah.
you can
Like
claim
the
her. You can claim her. You can take her. I got.
Okay, so we're going with water for
Yeah.
Sabrina. Okay.
All right.
What about Scott Pilgrim? From,
Not fire.
I think Earth is a contender.
He's
Yeah, wait, let me-
so like
He's a bad
in a way, this is what gets me because he's so main character-y. He reminds me of like an Aang, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's
The
he's
Stealing
the
my job.
like he reminds me of the Avatar, not like
Ooh.
of a nation. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, and
Maybe-
I mean, the way Michael Cera played him in the movie, like he had so many different components.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the next Avatar? Are you guys deciding on?
I feel like you should.
Guys, come on, you guys.
I kind of.
Guys, I'm a really good friend.
How many more do we have after this?
No, but Mike.
Okay, let's circle back to it. Let's circle
Okay,
back.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay, we'll come
Yeah,
back.
I like Scott Pilgrim as the
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait. All right. So how about Ramona Flowers then?
Oh, water. Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, we got one. Hell yeah.
How about Hopper from Stranger Things?
Earth.
Earth.
Yeah.
Earth.
Easy.
Okay. Wow, that was unique.
He's the next king of the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah.
Wait, why would you dub him King of the Earth Kingdom?
I don't know. He's just got that energy, especially that picture.
That picture. Oh my gosh.
What if you get him on the show? That'd be cool.
Oh.
The bowl.
He could be a background character.
He's amazing though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then obviously sticking with Stranger Things. What about 11?
Air.
Air.
Yeah, actually. That makes sense.
Hey, now I have 3 people on my team.
There you
There you go.
You counting?
Yeah, Lizzie.
Oh, sorry.
We gotta recruit more.
I gotta get more of my friends back.
Yeah, work on it, kid.
Dang.
Too busy slaying the house down, bro.
So would you have any advice to give to Scott Pilgrim, who you all have dubbed the next Avatar?
I'd probably tell him to tell everybody that I'm mad at them for replacing me. I thought you guys were my fan. No, I'd say focus.
Yeah.
Aang has a huge lack of focus, and he could work on that.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us. You can watch Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix right now, and for plenty more on Avatar, keep it right here at IGN.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
That was a look at Avatar: The Last Airbender right here on IGN Fan Fest 2024.
And up next, we're swapping air, fire, earth, and water bending for some Hadoukens, spinning bird kicks, and sonic booms. Here's Street Fighter 6.
Ed is the next character to join the Street Fighter 6 roster, and so to talk all about the return of the psycho-powered boxer, we've got director Takayuki Nakayama and producer Shuhei Matsumoto joining us remotely all the way from Japan. So, to start, can you tell us about how you were looking to update Ed's character design over his Street Fighter V counterpart?
Yeah, so in terms of the visual aspect of Ed, in terms of his design in Street Fighter V, he kind of turned out to be a little more macho and bigger frame than they were intentionally going for. So for Street Fighter 6, they feel like they were able to nail that down a little more.
And then story-wise, where is Ed at in Street Fighter 6? What's his driving motivation going forward in this story?
In terms of Street Fighter 6, his story is very much connected to what players saw in Street Fighter 5 with his association with Bison and just kind of being in that environment, that kind of like lab environment that was led by Bison. And in 6, he is motivated to try to find his comrades from the days of Street Fighter 5.
So Ed was such a notable character in Street Fighter V because all of his special moves were tied to just a button and direction, almost like a beta test of the modern control scheme. Does Ed retain this kind of uniqueness among the roster, even though the whole cast can now have one-button special moves through the modern control scheme?
As you mentioned, it was kind of an experiment for the developers when they were working on Street Fighter V to make Ed kind of like the prototype of this modern controls that we currently see in Street Fighter 6. However, his move roster, I guess, has been updated from the past title, and it's not like a complete replica of what you get to experience in Street Fighter V. So they've definitely made some tweaks and updates so that his modern controls in Street Fighter 6 is also fun and compelling.
All right, I'm gonna throw this question to both of you. Between the three boxers of the Street Fighter series, we got Dudley, we got Balrog, and we got Ed. Who do you think would be the champion of the world just by pure boxing skill if they were to fight?
So, in terms of like power or strength, Balrog probably has the one up among those three. And in terms of technique, they'll probably have to go to Dudley. Ed might not have the technique or the polish, but he also has the advantage of being able to utilize psycho power. So in terms of boxing skills alone, it might kind of depend on like the setting or the context of the fight that we're seeing. But that's kind of how they're weighing out the individual character strengths.
Incredible answer. you gave props to every one of them. So with that, why don't we throw to some gameplay and kind of just live react to just seeing Ed in motion and just seeing what he can do. Also, we get to check out a new stage. Is there anything you can tell us about the stage that they're playing on here?
Maybe a lot of you weren't expecting this to be the setting of the new stage, so hopefully everyone is pleasantly surprised with this. This is kind of like the ruins of what is remaining now of the Shadaloo base. So as you can see, everything is kind of like dilapidated and destroyed. But if you look at the chair in the very center, there is some kind of red thing just kind of lying there. So I think that's probably the noteworthy item of what you're seeing right here.
So talking about Ed's gameplay a little bit, I can tell he's a very close range kind of fighter. Do you envision him having any strengths in any kind of matchups or being strong against certain characters and weak towards others? Do you design him that way? How do you describe his play style and how he fares against other characters?
So yeah, as you mentioned, he's a very strong in close range combat with his boxing fighting style, and he actually has a lot of different target combos available in his repertoire. So that's definitely noteworthy. Also, he, unlike his moveset in Street Fighter V, he no longer has kick moves. So they're all punches. Punch buttons will obviously do punches, but his kick moves are designated to these kind of flicker jabs that have pretty good reach. So not only is he strong in close quarters, but also very talented in terms of kind of mid-range attacks as well. However, he probably shines brightest when he is all up in the face of the opposing character, and he's got lots of different unique combos that are only capable through Ed. So we definitely recommend you to get aggressive, get in there and show what you got.
All right, and then I know you probably don't want me to ask this question, but I have to ask it. Akuma, is there anything you can share about how this character will play in Street Fighter 6 and when we can expect to see even a little taste of what he's going to look like in this game?
Yeah, obviously not a lot of information that we can provide here right now, but we're all very excited for you guys to see him. He's awesome looking and lots of great effects. We're going to be carefully planning out how we present this character to you guys, so we can't wait to show you this new character.
All right, well, I'll take it. Nakayama-san, Matsumoto-san, thank you so much for joining us. Ed will be available starting February 27th as the third character in the Year 1 Character Pass of Street Fighter 6.
You know, before they settled on Street Fighter, some of their early working titles were Roadhouse, Roughhousing, Sidewalk Slammer, and Boulevard of Broken Bones.
Is that true?
No, absolutely not. It's all made up. But you know what? Speaking of breaking stuff, it's time to take a break, and when we return, we're checking in with a couple of iconic teams who've saved the world countless times, the Justice League and G.I. Joe. So, now you know.
And knowing is half the battle. Yo, Joe!
Oh, I apologize on behalf of that. So IGN Fan Fest will be right back after this, so stick around.
Behind every game, movie, and TV show you love is a wild, crazy, and sometimes unbelievable story.
No one is just black and white.
From revealing the secrets behind your favorite franchises to solving a legendary video game mystery,
I'm coming for you.
IGN Inside Stories gives you a peek behind the curtain.
If people come to the game now and see what's going on there, I think they'll be surprised.
Join us as we dive into hyper-dedicated fan bases, worldwide phenomenons, and the most incredible untold tales in games and entertainment.
I said, wait a minute, that doesn't sound so good.
It was definitely not what I expected in the best way.
Inside Stories, available now only on IGN.
And I was like, holy shit, we're gonna do this.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection to the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to. IGN Playlist, check it out.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, like, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
Welcome back to Imagine Games Network's Fanatical Festival of 2024.
Or IGN Fan Fest 2024 for short. And speaking of short, here are some short, sweet, and very cool trailers, starting with Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. Check it out.
Hey IGN Fan Fest, it's Jensen Ackles, the voice of Batman.
I'm excited to give you this exclusive sneak peek at Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2, which I can exclusively announce will be available on digital. So enjoy, and be sure to look out for the last part of the trilogy coming out later this year.
Satellite, something's different about this one. It's not a wave. Earth 2 to satellite. A blinding light here, but not much damage.
Multiple Earths are calling in to report the same, Batman. Maybe this one was just a dud.
Maybe. Satellite, reporting an unusual development from Earth 2.
If it's to tell us that some kind of shadow demons are peeling themselves off the walls, save your breath. You're not so special. We've got about 1 million of them on our hands.
Great Caesar's ghost. I only wish it was.
Welcome to hell.
Hi, IGN Fan Fest. I'm Rose McIver.
I'm Woodkar.
And we are in the middle of shooting season 3 of Ghosts in Montreal. We wanted to take a moment to thank all of our incredible fans.
Thanks, guys, so much. And as a special treat, we're delighted to show you guys a sneak peek of next week's episode.
You can watch Ghosts at 8:30 on CBS and stream it on Paramount Plus. There's lots in store for season 3, and we hope
you'll be tuning
in.
Okay, I'm off to the airport. I will be back Monday. I have a bachelorette party in Chicago for my friend Stacy.
Ooh, Stacy, hot college friend, Stacy? Loving her Instagram post recently.
Yes, thank you, by the way, for DMing her wowza while logged into Jay's account.
Yep, anytime you find questionable internet activity, it's the ghosts.
You're away the whole weekend? Who's gonna flip pages in our magazines?
Or move things we desire to be moved.
Yes, I will miss you all too, especially you.
Abe. I am glad that my sister and Eric are coming up, though, because I did not want to be alone in a house full of creepy ghosts. No offense.
How we not take offense at that?
So, Bela and Eric still going strong, huh?
Oh, that's the guy she was here with last Christmas.
Yes, Bela seems so happy. I'm just glad she's finally giving a good guy a shot. Did you know he secretly took classes to learn how to make crepes because Bela told him she loves crepes?
This guy's the total package. I mean, he's an architect, he's a human, he wears pants.
You almost have sex with a guy's sister one time with another man's penis. You never hear the end of it.
Well, have a great weekend, everybody.
Love you.
Love you.
Oh, remember when you drink too much rosé, you get a headache?
And if a pillow fight breaks out, you be open to it.
Bring back her bachelorette. Though not really know what bachelor party is.
Well, you just gotta look at trailers for Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths, Brawlhalla, G.I. Joe, Wrath of Cobra, Kingmakers, The Pelican Brief, My Best Friend's Wedding, and Pretty Woman.
I'm pretty sure those last are just Julia Roberts movies that we definitely didn't just show during IGN Fan Fest, because why would we do that?
Well, look, I'm just making sure you at home are paying attention. Now, coming up next, we're taking a look at an upcoming open-world survival game called Once Human, and it's multiplayer, which means you could actually be playing online with anyone, including Julia Roberts.
Sure, yeah, even Julia Roberts. Let's check out Once Human. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to FanFest presented by Once Human. I'm Alan Wheeler, and if you've never faced a horde of interdimensional beings, well, you're in luck, because I have just the guy to help you. He is the head of operations at Starry Studio, the team behind Once Human, an upcoming supernatural multiplayer survival game. Please join me in welcoming Derek. Welcome.
Hi, it's very nice to be here.
Now, we've got a special trailer that we're going to show our audience later in this segment, but before we do that, let's talk about the strange and supernatural world of Once Human. Now, in this post-apocalyptic open world, players have to explore, combat, and craft to survive. But they aren't facing zombies or fungal creatures. No, they're facing creatures from another dimension called the Great Ones. What makes Once Human different from other open world multiplayer survival games?
So first of all, thank you very much for having me here. And I think I can answer your question from two perspectives. So first one being the worldview and gameplay features. So because we are a huge fan of SCP and the work of Mr. Lovecraft, our game design concept is deeply inspired by those. Apart from the usual survival game mechanics that we have designed, we have also designed a very unique features called containment, so that players can capture and contain the deviations, also known as the combat companions. So you can use their supernatural power to explore the world more effectively. And second being our dev team itself. So the greatest mission, apart from developing the game itself, is to listen to our players' feedbacks and voice. We value this very, very much. So you can consider this game as a continuously evolving game, but based on players' feedback.
Speaking about the development team, what was your team's vision behind the game?
Well, that's always simple and straightforward, which is to make Once Human a worldwide game so we can serve more players around the world. But we understand survival game, this genre is super competitive and there are a lot of outstanding titles over there. So we want to add some cherries on top of the cake, meaning that we want to attract our players with intriguing narratives and innovative gameplay features. Also, we want to craft the Once Human world to become a very open world. So no matter what kind of player you are, you can choose the way you want to live in this open world.
Now, let's chat about Once Human's gameplay modes. Each server can hold over 4,000 players, letting players create tribes, pillage other players, and fight against the Great Ones to loot gear and treasure. During your most recent beta, which modes did players tend to play more? And out of all the Great Ones, which one is your favorite as far as design and gameplay experience?
So actually, there are two modes that players tend to play more. So the first one is the immersive explorations inside the Once Human world. Players really enjoy exploring the world, fighting with the unknown creatures, and to solve the puzzles. And second mode is the building mechanics. So we found out that there's a lot of talented architectures inside the game. So they can use our building tools to build magnificent buildings. For example, you can find castles or even palace in the sky. And to answer your second question, actually, my favorite is not the Great Ones. It's the monster look like a bus with feet. I really like it. Like most of the players. The reason is very simple is because that was very fascinating design, and it looks so damn cool.
Now, were you surprised at any of the behavior that the players showcased during the beta?
Yes, of course. So at the very first beginning, right, so we were expecting a relatively compact size of the testing participants. We were expecting like maybe 20,000 maximum. But, you know, the enthusiasm from the players really exceeded our expectations. And I really want to, you know, to use this opportunity to say thank you to all of your support.
Now, Once Human has already had 2 closed betas, but there is a 3rd closed beta coming in March. You also have this concept called We Hear You, where you put the players first, listening and prioritizing their needs for the game. What have you heard from the fan base, and what are you planning to add or optimize in the next closed beta?
So actually, we heard a lot of voice saying that we need more like testing servers. So yes, we're gonna add the European testing servers in the closed beta test for the upcoming one, and then we're gonna expand the test participants from 20,000 to 150,000. So that's the first thing. And secondly is that we receive hundreds and thousands suggestions, feedbacks every day, and we take it very seriously because, you know, we prioritize our players' needs. So one example that I can give to you is that there's one feature called the message flowers. Basically, everyone hated. So we noticed that, and we make some changes. So right now, we add the filtering mechanism, so players, they can filter the message flowers, and also we add a blocking system, so players, you know, they can just block the entire message flowers.
I know that our time is almost up, but real quick, would you mind teasing us with some of the future developments you have planned?
Yes, one thing is very exciting to share is that I know a lot of players, they're waiting for the mobile version. So in the upcoming closed beta test, we're going to have a mobile version finally. And so players, they can play Once Human at any time, anywhere they want. And second thing is that we keep brainstorming some very innovative and interesting game features to the game. To become like more immersive for our players. So one example I can give to you, but it's not a guarantee, is that we are now creating some EDM music festival inside the game, and that will be hosted on the snowy mountain. So players, they can listening to the music festival while skiing. That's some direction that we are looking forward to, because we want to provide different and various gameplay features to the players.
Well, that is very exciting. Thank you so much, Derek. It was a pleasure having you on. Now, if you want to jump into the closed beta this March for Once Human, the free-to-play open-world survival game, then make sure to follow them at discord.gg/oncehuman for all their biggest updates, or you can follow them on X and Facebook. But before we go, here is a special trailer for Once Human. Enjoy.
The IGN Game of the Year for 2022 is Elden Ring, but I want to go ahead and talk about the IGN Game of the Year for 2023, which is, of course, Tears of the Kingdom. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Seth, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't come out for another 5 months. Well, I don't have to listen to you because you're not my dad. Tears of the Kingdom earned its title as IGN's 2023 Game of the Year basically the moment its 2023 release date was finalized.
Mr. Miyamoto, are we going to get a new Mario game next year? Oh, he's nodding yes!
Mr. Miyamoto, are we gonna get more DLC for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker?
Ooh, good question.
That would be wonderful.
Oh,
He's disappearing. Don't miss out on the chaos. Every Thursday, we get together to talk about all things Nintendo. Tune in and be part of the NBC family.
I look at that and I thought, that's a man that loves Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
CD Projekt announced the roadmap for all the games that they're working on, and several of which aren't even going to be out on this generation. They'll be PlayStation 6, Xbox Series Y games. Orion, that's their next Cyberpunk game.
I'm so excited.
A sequel
I'm
to Cyberpunk.
so happy. Like, I don't know whether I'm like surprised or not, but like Cyberpunk has been on such a journey. The context here is that I love Cyberpunk 2077. I think it's incredible and one of the best video game narratives I've ever experienced.
Okay, so new Cyberpunk, and then a new Witcher trilogy. Maybe 4, 5, 6, or maybe just 3 other stories at some other time.
I think that Cyberpunk came out and was a show, and then the CD Projekt board and executives immediately got into a room and said, guys, we gotta go back.
Where's Geralt? Get him back out here.
Every Friday, we discuss the latest gaming news, and when it's a slow news week, we talk about retro games because we are old. IGN Game Scoop. Every Friday, tune in wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to IGN Fan Fest 2024. Now, if you're just joining us, don't worry. There's still tons more cool stuff coming up, including a closer look at Prime Video's Fallout series and Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, just to be clear, like the show, we're not actually interviewing a vampire.
Yeah, IGN actually got blacklisted by vampires after we said that they suck.
Heyo! No. Anyway, while we've got you, just a friendly reminder to check out IGN Rewards. It's totally free to sign up, and members get access to tons of awesome giveaways and deals you won't find anywhere else. Now head on over to ign.com/rewards to find out more.
And if you want the ultimate IGN experience, subscribe to IGN Plus, which gives you ad-free viewing, free monthly games, and a ton of other great perks.
Coming up on IGN Fan Fest, we've got new looks at some great new games. Backpack Battles, Tales of Kenzera, Bo, Path of the Teal Lotus, and a great new game accessory from the fine folks at Cracked.
But right now, it's time to boldly go where we actually go on a pretty regular basis to hang out with the crew from Star Trek Discovery. Let's go.
Star Trek is back on TV and in a big way, thanks in no small part to Star Trek Discovery, the groundbreaking series that paved the way to bring the final frontier back into homes, telling serialized stories on a regular basis. Joining us to celebrate Discovery's 5th and final season are its stars, Sonequa Martin Green, Doug Jones, Wilson Cruz, and Anthony Rapp. Thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. Star Trek Discovery was the show to bring Star Trek back to TV after the 12-year absence that followed Enterprise, now about to launch its 5th and final season. How do you start to say goodbye entering the final season of this show?
I think we start by saying thank you for the opportunity to lead this new Star Trek franchise. We're so grateful for the opportunity to have started this new generation of Star Trek, which has gone on to give birth to many more series. I think we're also still very grateful for the opportunity we've had to work together and meet each other and create this family that we've been able to create on set. And I think we start with gratitude.
So what could you tell us about what's to come for season 5? Is the end of the season premiere a good roadmap for what's ahead?
I mean, in terms of like the tone of the season, you know, the sense of a kind of quest adventure vibe, which is probably a little different than some of the other seasons we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think, I don't know if this is necessarily told by the end of the first season, but the nooks and crannies of this adventure take us into some really interesting questions and territories, which are very Star Trek. So it's able to bridge the gap of like the fun adventure without sacrificing the, moral complexity of what Star Trek has always been about as well.
I mean, well, you're all original cast members. What does this mean to you? What is the legacy you think that Discovery will leave?
Well, Star Trek has always been about representation in a big way, but I think that we took it to another level, and I think that really matters and has mattered to a lot of people. So I think that's one of the biggest stamps that we put on the universe. So yeah, that's one of them, and really also serialized storytelling. That there was a little bit of that in Deep Space Nine, but we took it to another level as well. And proving that Star Trek could be part of this era of peak TV, of long form storytelling in this medium.
Discovery does feature a lot of firsts in a historically very progressive series. What does it mean to be Captain Burnham and what she represents?
It means so many things on so many levels. It means so much to me artistically. It means so much to me culturally. It means so much to me relationally. It means so much to me spiritually. And being able to do this, being able to be Captain Burnham as a Black woman, the first, and in this way, but then also being able to be a part of this whole, which Discovery is a first in a lot of ways within this franchise. It means a lot. It means more than I can say, literally.
It does take a certain kind of riz to have a relationship with a Vulcan, a high-ranking one at that. Are we going to see Saru's romance continue more this season?
Yeah, wait, did you say a certain amount of riz? Is that what the kids are calling it? I'll tell you what Michelle Paradise, our showrunner, told me at the beginning of filming of season 5. She lets all of us find out how much we want to know about the season. You want to go see the entire arc until the very end, or do I? I'm one of those actors who likes to know one episode at a time as it comes, just because I like to be surprised. But the one thing I asked her was, okay, this romance with Tarina, what? And she said, I think you'll be very pleased. And I can promise you now, after filming season 5, you too will be very pleased.
I'd like to talk about Stamets and Culber's relationship, which is another huge first for Star Trek. Their relationship and marriage is another thing we hadn't seen before Discovery, and they kind of adopted a child. So the child Adira is another kind of character even. So what does that mean to you, speaking to Wilson and Anthony?
Well, it was a long time coming. It was too long. They really did try to break down some of these barriers about queer representation back in Next Gen. But the powers that be said no. There was a lot more fear dictating these sorts of choices. So we were very fortunate that in the late teens and early 2020s that we had forces behind us saying yes, and recognizing that representation matters and that it makes a difference and that it's important that the future reflects the way the world looks. And we were really lucky that we were given 2 wonderful characters to play, Wilson and I. And I think it was just the bonus that we knew each other before. We'd worked together years ago. We kind of have been walking this path alongside each other for all these years, and then to get to do this together is it's just such a gift and a bonus round thing, and it's changed our lives.
To give the fan base something that they've always wanted, and to be those characters means a lot.
What are your ideal endings for your characters? Do they get happy endings?
I feel a sense of a happy ending because, even just with these 3, beautiful men sitting here, it's some of the best work I have ever seen in front of my face, all of us in this cast. And so it's been such a happy ending for me personally, being able to watch them and see their growth and see them pour their hearts and artistry into it, along with, like we said, our brilliant showrunner, Michelle Paradise, and our writers. There is a happy ending because you see these people settle into the heroes that they were always meant to be.
Star Trek has always looked forward to the future, to hopefully a better world that can be made when we focus and build instead of worrying about our differences. What kind of firsts would you like to see Trek handle next?
Yeah, we've done
race and gender identity and sexual orientation and male female and those kinds of power dynamics. I'm not sure. What do you think? It's a good question.
Yes, we have covered so much, but I think what is incredibly relevant about the franchise is the need for connection. And in this moment, and where we are as a culture and politically, we couldn't need that lesson and that message more. So, I hope that Star Trek continues to inspire us to appreciate each other's differences, to reach out to each other, to build bridges and not walls.
That's really beautiful. Thank you, Wilson, and thank you all for joining me today to talk more about Star Trek Discovery, which will be premiering its 5th and final season soon.
Thank you. I love y'all, and I love all it.
Oh, love you all too so much. Love.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with Abubakar Salim, founder and CEO of Surgeon Studios, to talk about his new game, Tales of Kenzera Zhao. Welcome, Abu.
Thank you for having me, man.
So, tell us all about Tales of Kenzera Zhao.
Tales of Kenzera is about a young warrior shaman called Zhao, who essentially makes a deal with the god of death, Kalunga, that in exchange for 3 great spirits that roam the land of Kenzera, the god of death will bring his father back to the living. It's an action adventure sort of platformer, Metroidvania inspired, and essentially the real truth of where it comes from my journey of grief and my personal experience of that after I lost my dad. It's set in this sort of fantastical Afrocentric world, which again is really inspired by quite a few Bantu tales that my father used to tell me and stuff that I also have, learned as I've gone along too. But yeah, it's quite an experience.
So I believe, game creator is a relatively new title for you. You're also an actor. What was compelling about using gaming to tell this story as opposed to film or television?
I've always loved games. I've played games like all my life, and truly, it's the king of storytelling in regards to how you deliver stories. It's a powerful tool in regards to the fact that the audience aren't necessarily just passively watching, they're actively taking part and engaging in it. And I think it just felt right. I think when playing a game, I feel like I'm more emotionally moved going on this journey and learning at the same time as a character, and actively doing it rather than necessarily passively watching.
And then once you landed on using gaming as your medium for telling the story, how did you specifically land on a Metroidvania game?
Really, truly, it just felt like the right genre to tell. I think the beauty of Metroidvanias is that you throw a player into a world that they have no idea about. And you've got to learn about it and get comfortable with it as you go along. And so for me, that's essentially grief. You can't really necessarily prepare for it. It comes at you at any time it wants to. And yes, it does essentially provide you the tools in order to sort of get used to it. As you kind of sit with it, the longer you do. And I think that journey is essentially the exact sort of way a Metroidvania plays out. And I think that's why this game felt right for being that sort of genre.
Well, games about grief specifically are a relatively new phenomenon. There's examples like Grease, What Remains of Edith Finch, even God of War. These games have resonated deeply with players in recent years. Why do you think that is? And what do you think is the emotional impact you hope Tales of Kenzera has on players?
I think it's a complex one, right? And it's a really personal one. I think everyone's grief and their journey is very different. The fact that not everyone is sad straight away, or not everyone is angry. It comes in its own way and affects people in their own way, shape, and form. And I think truly that the hope with Tales is to just give another perspective to that. Another sort of look at it. I think a lot of the time, quite rightly so, grief is always depicted as something quite sad and lots of vengeance or are fueled with anger. And I think with Tales, I've kind of gone down the approach of wanting it to be more a celebration of those we've loved and lost, in the sense of like a look at their lives and a reflection on that, in the sense of really kind of seeing like, yes, there is sadness there and there is anger there, and it's okay to not be okay, but at the same time we should be thankful that they have touched our lives in such a way. Some people it will resonate with and some people it won't, but ultimately that's the point. It's so unique to everyone's journey, and it's okay to feel the way that you do.
As a first-time game maker, what have been the biggest surprises or the biggest learnings along this journey for you?
It's funny, actually, coming from the film and TV space, I've learned so much more because of the openness and the access to information that game devs are, to the people than I have with film and TV. It doesn't feel as closed, funnily enough. But I think it's one of the biggest learnings is how hard it is. I always say, like, if I knew what I did now back then when I started the studio, I would have run a mile. I wouldn't have done it at all, man. But there's also a sense of, again, real beauty in it. And I think for me, what excites me about the industry and something that I do want to push is the opportunity and the space to grow and the space to thrive and for change. It's still a young industry, so there is so much that can be done in order to make it feel good and play good. Not that it doesn't already, but we can evolve it more.
There are several biomes in the game. You didn't approach it like, well, we need to have a water level and a lava level, right?
One of the things that I think a lot of the time you see in games is you've got your typical sort of lava space and your fire space, your water space and swimming space, and really something that we wanted to approach with the team is this idea of handling each space as a way of looking at grief and the emotions. So for example, like in the Highlands, I wanted to look at anxiety and what that means, especially, after suffering loss. At the same time, it's an art form, right? Games are an art form, and how else can you build and design something with just one layer? You want to kind of look at it from a high level and really dig and dive into it. And I think that's something that we really wanted to even play with the Highlands and look at anxiety and stress and how that not only affects the land, but also affects the characters that you will meet along the journey as well.
I believe you're incorporating all sorts of Bantu religion and mythology into the game. Can you tell us about that?
I mean, the beauty of the Bantu cultures is how rich their mythologies and stories and legends are. Tales of Kenzera is very much a universe that I wanted to kind of conjure and play with. We're pulling from the Zulu, the Xhosa, the Maasai, and even the Botswanan sort of the people. It's to me, these are the tip of the iceberg of stories and spaces that we want to evolve. I mean, like, for example, you'll be able to fight Tokolosh or Tokoloshe, which are these kind of little creatures within sort of Zulu myth. It's a real celebration of these cultures and beauty of them, because I think we see a lot of Norse and sort of Celtic and even Greek mythology, and now for me it feels like, hey, let's look over here, so then we can inspire other people as well to tell these kind of stories.
I know this has been a big, important journey for you, so thank you for sharing more of the game with us, and we can't wait to play soon.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us, Abu. Tales of Kenzera Zao arrives on April 23rd.
During last year's Summer of Gaming, we revealed the Nitro Deck from the gaming hardware brand Cracked. Now, for the uninitiated, the Nitro Deck is the handheld deck for both the original Nintendo Switch and OLED models. And now, less than a year later, Embracer Free Mode is back at it again with the Nitro Deck Plus. And here to tell us all about the new Nitro Deck Plus is co-creator of the Nitro Deck, Jack Guinchard. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Jack, you are back. Now, I want you to give us a little bit of a recap for those that, like I mentioned earlier, uninitiated, what the Nitro Deck is.
Yeah, I think you said it perfect in your intro. You said the Nitro Deck is the professional handheld deck for Switch and the OLED model, and it's really built to elevate that handheld experience when playing handheld mode with the Switch.
Yep.
So what the Nitro Deck Plus is really the foundation of what we built with the Nitro Deck and building on top of it to create new and improved features based on community feedback, which is really heavily influenced by Discord community.
Well, it's really great that y'all have taken into consideration what fans have been saying, especially on the Discord. Now, let's get into the Nitro Deck Plus. I want you to tell us about some of the new features.
For sure.
And, of course, what kind of sets it apart from the original Nitro Deck.
So the first thing that you're going to notice about the Nitro Deck Plus is really this right thumbstick placement. It's come up top, so it's more of a symmetrical layout. And this is really going to be ideal for games that utilize that right thumbstick. As you turn it around to the side, you can see these new sidekick buttons. These are essentially fully programmable action buttons. And then the back buttons, which we've reprogrammed to be the action buttons that you find on the front. So now you can game comfortably, ergonomically, where your thumb really rests by itself. You have these action buttons, or these sidekick buttons, sorry. The left one is going to be B, the right one is going to be A. And that really feels good when you're navigating things like the menu or in-game menus or for certain games. I mean, I was playing Mario Kart the other day with this thing and it felt great. And then the remappable back buttons too. Since these are now action buttons, it really allows you to, if you get used to it, not really have to move your thumb at all. So it really just elevates that comfort piece when really transitioning from the regular Nitro Deck to the Nitro Deck Plus.
So the symmetrical thumbstick layout is essentially for comfort.
With the original Nitro Deck, you had that traditional layout, right, with the offset. With the Nitro Deck Plus and the symmetrical layout, along with the combinations that I just told you about, it really offers an elevated handheld experience that we were really trying to achieve relatively quickly, right? We wanted to create something based off of community feedback and offer people an alternative solution to what we already created.
Honestly, like Jack, I gotta tell you this. So like I already have a Nitro Deck. I feel like a lot of people here in the IGN studio have a Nitro Deck. I have a special one, the one that you gifted me last year. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Now I gotta ask. So like for those who already own the Nitro Deck, what do you think will incentivize them to upgrade to the Nitro Deck Plus?
Yeah, so we've carried over the core features. It still has the Hall effect thumbsticks, which eliminates stick drift. It's still comfortable. Actually, it's even more comfortable now.
Yeah.
You have Hall effect triggers to adjust the actuation points. We have adjustable rumble. The rumble has been improved, so there's new motors and drivers which drive that. We have an easy eject mechanism, which makes it easy to get the Switch out of the console. And it's dockable, so now you can use it not only on the go in handheld mode, but you can really utilize it to its full potential by docking it and playing with your friends and family. So it really becomes this all-in-one solution for the Nintendo Switch.
All right, so I want you to show me how to actually eject the screen here, and tell us a little bit more about like the thumbsticks.
Sure. So we've added an easy eject mechanism. So before you just push the latch up. You still do the same with the Nitro Deck Plus, but to eject it, you basically just push it up a little more and it ejects the screen a little bit. So I'll do this again, but this way, so you can kind of see it kind of pops up a little bit and then you can kind of wiggle it out.
Oh.
So just like that.
Nice.
So the thumbsticks are swappable. You just twist and pull. We have stick top packs that accessorize the deck. Maybe they're wearing out, you want them to feel new, or maybe you just want different styles, convex, concave.
Honestly, I love it. Now, you also have to mention the Cracked app. Like, I'm kind of curious how this will integrate with that particular app.
So for those of you who don't know, we have a Cracked companion app. It's called our True Collection System. And every single product that we create, you're able to tap your mobile device to the product, and it takes you through a digital reveal experience, letting you know the product number and the rarity ranking of your device. And in future feature updates with the app, you're going to be able to connect via Bluetooth, which this has in.
Oh, wow.
And you're probably thinking, why do you have Bluetooth if it's a wired connection?
Yeah.
We put Bluetooth in so that gamers can easily access things like firmware updates through our app, which is available for iOS and Android. You'll be able to connect and change things like your back buttons, adjust the trigger actuation points, because you've got Hall effect triggers, vibration, and even presets for different games depending on the style of game that you're playing. So that's coming soon. We're working on that, and we expect that to be a feature of this and future compatible products that have Bluetooth.
All right, well, I think one of the main questions, and one of my final questions is, a lot of people are probably wondering, Jack, how much can we expect this to cost, and when can we expect the Nitro Deck Plus to drop?
Yeah, so this is actually an exclusive first look of the Nitro Deck Plus. We haven't showed anybody it, and it goes live for pre-order right now. You can get it for $69.99 at cracked.gg, crk.gg, and it comes with a USB-C to HDMI adapter so that you can use it in dock mode. And it comes in clear white, but it also comes in clear black. And those feature a solid black back and a clear black front, and a solid white back and a clear white front, and they both have matte purple thumbsticks.
Well, Jack, I want to thank you so much for giving us the lowdown on the Nitro Deck Plus. I'm not giving this back to you. I'm going to keep this.
I might have some more gifts for you, man, honestly.
Really? Okay, dude, thank you so much.
Off camera, though.
Yeah, okay. Jack, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you coming in.
No worries, man. Pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. IGN's Fan Fest continues, so keep watching. Grand Theft Auto 6. It's been a long and winding road leading to the biggest video game of all time, but it's still so far away.
Trust?
Trust.
But don't worry, IGN has just the thing to pass the time until Rockstar turns us loose in Leonida, GTFM, a brand new original show all about GTA. Tune in for hard-hitting Grand Theft Auto 6 analysis.
Who is Jason anyways?
The internet's biggest and most out-there fan theories.
I would make the argument that based on the universe, it's actually not Lucia.
Interviews with the most infamous stars of past Grand Theft Auto games.
Call me Franklin, all y'all want to say, or Mr. Clinton.
And so much more.
We are back.
For everything GTA, it's GTFM. Only on IGN.
Have you ever been stuck on the same quest for just way too long? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help. IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and of course, free. You can even track your progress with handy checklists if you go for 100%, just like we do. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy, and so much more. Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN.
And we're back with more IGN Fan Fest. Our next few surprises don't actually have a lot in common, so you know what? Instead of making up some weird way to glue them all together cohesively, I'll just tell you, they're all awesome, and you're gonna love them.
Hey, that works for me. See, you did it.
I did do it.
Yes, you did. And with that, it's time to check in on the action RPG Dungeons of Hinterberg, the cast of the upcoming Amazon Prime Video show Fallout, based on the hit game series, and the legendary comic book artist and toy maker Todd McFarlane. You're right, those all are awesome. Let's check it out.
Join us in Hinterberg, Austria's hidden gem, where relaxation meets monster-slaying adventure. It's the only choice for the discerning traveler. Join us now up into the majestic peaks of Doberkogel, where your adventure starts and the secrets of Hinterberg begin to reveal themselves. If you thought the mountains had a lot to offer, wait until you see the fantastical forests of Hinterwald. Brimming with magic and mystery, they are a must-see for every visitor. And after an exciting day engineering, come back to our bustling town and enjoy all the amenities Hinterberg has to offer. Relax in our world-class spa, join a new friend for a drink, or take in a movie. The residents are friendly and open to sharing the town's secrets, which will serve you well on your adventures. Armed with all that local knowledge, we suggest you next head out to Kolmstein, where the gorgeous glaciers definitely won't leave you cold. In fact, they're a hit with everyone. It's a beautiful area with hidden depths to discover and some exciting surprises. Hold on. I guess we did promise surprising. Our newest attraction, the recently opened swamps of Brunelsund. It's the latest hotspot for slayers, teeming with new perils and unique curiosities. So from all of us at the Hinterberg Tourist Office, we look forward to welcoming you for your ultimate slaycation.
What's up, guys? Benjamin Watts here, and I'm with the cast of the highly anticipated Amazon Prime TV series Fallout, based on the epic video game franchise by Bethesda. Ella Purnell, Aaron Motten, Walton Goggins, and Kyle McLaughlin. Welcome to Fan Fest.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Be here.
Okay, so I'm just going to start with a baseline question, which is hands up if you've played the video games.
Attempted.
Okay.
Was it attempted?
Attempted counts.
I went in, looked around, and they said, no, I'm not going to be able to do this. This is impossible. I'm too old for this.
Well, we're living in this kind of golden age of video game adaptations to entertainment. Obviously, The Last of Us was the last big one that kind of kicked off from the video game genre. So I'm curious, when you're working on a video game adaptation of this, does it feel any different? Like, do you approach it differently, or does it feel different on set?
The reason why video game adaptations have become so popular is that's where some of the best stories are. It's such an immersive, four-dimensional experience. My son is a big gamer. I don't game at all, and I see him and I watch the way he consumes this entertainment. And yeah, there's action and all the rest of it, but he's not in it for that. He really is in it to be immersed in the world, and it's the spaces in between where the story really takes off that he gets the most out of the experience. And so the only reason that we're here is people have been attempting to do this, and some succeeding and some failing for a number of years, right? But always establishing a beachhead and what works and what doesn't work. And now, you know, here we are, what, 15, 16, 18 years later, something like that. And to where, you know, the stories have evolved in a way and are so good, people are able to execute them, you know, and it's cool. It's just a great form of storytelling.
Well, for those of you who haven't played the game, being on set and seeing it all come to life, did it kind of have you going, what kind of game is this?
I mean, for me, Twitch was huge. I was watching Twitch streamers play because I was like, let me see what the professionals do. And let me see what they enjoy about the game as well. So, I don't know, those first days on sets were actually more like, how incredible that they actually made this, you know? Something that looks pulled directly from it, you know? It's that detailed and that specific and that faithful.
Do you ever go through any kind of lore, and I don't mean like lore as in law, the law, lore school, where it comes to a franchise this big, or is it everything just laid out for you in the script? Was it like that for you, Kyle?
No, I think everything was there, and I certainly, when I walked on set for the first time, which was in the vault, and saw what they'd created, I had a great appreciation for the authenticity. And this, you know, with a very, very, very brief familiarity with the game, but you could see that this was something that they were treating with a great deal of respect. I think for the fans in particular, recognizing that they care about this game a great deal, they care about the world of this game, and far be it from us to sort of take advantage of that or belittle that at all. I think quite the opposite. I think we embraced it and said, hey, let's get in here as far as we can. And I saw that across the board between the actors, the production, the directors, everybody was on board to make this experience as close to what the gamers would feel as possible, and hopefully attract a whole new range of audience as well, who then may in turn get more interested in the game. So it could be a whole cycle.
as our audience knows very well, Todd Howard is the creator of the Fallout series. Now, did you ever get to meet him? And I'm curious, did he just want to tell you more about the games and get you into that world? And did you ever have that kind of connection?
What's funny to me to hear you ask that question is actually Todd spends all his time being so pleased with what we are creating. And, you know, that all comes from this umbrella, you know, Genesis conversation that he and Jonah had about, you know, taking on this challenge of adapting that material.
Now, the game Fallout is this open world where you kind of experience it all, kind of as you explore, but with a TV show, it doesn't really work the same way. So I'm curious, what can you tell fans that, like, what are the main themes you feel like you're exploring in the series?
One thing that Jonah had built into the script with Geneva and with Graham is that so much of the game, as you just said, is predicated on choice, right? And you're faced with these dilemmas, these choices. And not just the four of us, but we all in this story are constantly faced with choices. And on like a moral scale, some will be the erosion of morality, and some will be infused with regaining some bit of your humanity. You know, and that's very, very, very similar to the game. So in some ways, you're kind of playing it without playing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I actually want to ask you, Alton, about the experience of playing the Ghoul, the bounty hunter gunslinger. What's that like, having to put on those kinds of prosthetics and then like seeing yourself after in the finished cut? What's that experience like?
It was one time we were in Namibia, man. I was so exhausted, and I had this stuff on. And I was these little trailers, whatever they had in Namibia, and I woke up from this very strange nap, and I happened to be sleeping in front of this mirror, and I woke up. I was like, oh my God, God damn! Like, it really freaked me out. I scared the shit out of myself. Is what I'm saying.
It was pretty scary to look at,
pretty
too.
scary. It was exhausting.
On my side.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us here for Fan Fest. You can all check out the Fallout series on Amazon Prime, April 11th. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for having us.
Todd McFarlane's name has become synonymous with two things: Spawn and action figures. Here to tell us all about how McFarlane Toys is celebrating its 30th anniversary, I'm joined by the legend himself, Todd. Welcome to Fan Fest.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks for giving me the time.
Oh, no, thank you for spending it with us. Now, let's talk about the anniversary. Now, you've had 30 years of Spawn toys to pick from. Why re-release these specific versions I'm looking at right now, Commando Spawn and Hell Spawn?
We try to stay pretty faithful to them. I mean, obviously the packaging is dramatically different. We tried to go back to the retro packaging, which was the all plastic clamshell, right? I mean, you know, currently we use a lot of cardboard, but when we first came out, we were known for our packaging that was all plastic and then had the little flange on the side. We used to do a lot more art on the side, that side flange off to the left, but we're currently restricted to how big the package can be by the big retailers. They weren't quite as picky about space when I began 30 years ago.
Now, obviously, we also have this awesome re-release of Spawn issue 311. Can you tell us the significance about that issue and which this third figure is based on?
Yeah, so this one actually isn't a re-release. It's a first time, right? So if you turn the package to the side, you'll see the original art that was the cover for, or it's actually on the back, perfect. That was for 311. I did this drawn shortly after the sad news came out that Chadwick Boseman had passed away with his illness. I'd met him a couple times, charming man. I mean, people do stuff on Twitter and put out their messages and whatever else, and I just wanted to do something different. So I thought I'd pay my tribute with an image of my Spawn character, Al Simmons, basically paying tribute to him.
All right, so it is 30 years, and I need to know from the man himself. Obviously, you have these incredible re-releases and obviously the 311 figure, but I want to know what your personal favorites. Is there any that you just in the back of your mind? And also, is there any figures you would like to see just back on shelves that maybe might not be a realistic possibility?
A couple of the favorites were, we put out a line of from the children's book, Where the Wild Things Are, and I thought that those turned out, maybe because I liked the book so much when I was a child, that I thought they turned out good because we were able to get the cross-hatching that the author Maurice Sendak sort of put in his artwork. We did so much detail, and that was when we were pretty early in the game. And people said, it'll never hold up, Todd. It's not going to work. You can't do that. And it did hold up. So it taught me that not only could we do detail, but from that point, we should continue to push it to see what we could do even more and more. And then some, people got the hair right where they put enough grooves in it. Like when they don't put enough grooves, I call it like worm hair. It looks like a bunch of worms instead of hair. So to me, it's just weird amalgamation that I just go there. Someday I'll make the perfect figure and I'll put it all together.
Now, in addition to Spawn, McFarlane Toys is juggling a ton of collectibles based on movies, TVs, video game licenses. Now, are there any next big properties you're working on? I heard that you might have a line from a certain post-apocalyptic universe on the way.
We look in all the categories, mostly like you just mentioned them, video games, TV, and movies, right? Those are the three categories that people seem to get their eyeballs on the most. And we're always circling them. Obviously, some of them have already been spoken for by the time we get there. Sometimes when you get in the bidding war, we're not the one that they pick. They usually, when we lose those, it's usually because of a bigger company that came in and cash whipped them. I constantly have my radar up, and our people have our radar up to just say, what's the internet looking at? Like, we should go after some of that. So we have, one of our newer ones is Fallout, and later, in a couple months from now, we're going to make an announcement about another big brand. And you hope they succeed. You hope you can get the fans to get excited, and then if all that happens, then you hope that when your contract runs out, they'll renew it. Because sometimes they don't.
So to talk about the line that I think so many of our fans will be excited for, the Fallout series. Now, looking at the TV series, right, is that correct?
So we've got the license specifically for the TV show on this one. So we get actors' likenesses, which is always fun because I've always told my sculptors, if you're going to get any part right on this figure, it better be the face. Because if you get the face right and everything wrong, people will forgive you. But if you get everything right, but you don't get the likeness, people go, what? I'm not buying this. So it's always a dangerous sort of task when you say, let's go for movies and TV and we're doing the real people. If you're doing monsters and creatures, like that's easier. But once you get into, we're doing some other big star that somebody knows about, you better nail it. Because if you don't, the internet can be a hostile place very quickly.
Do you know how many figures you've got coming out for the Fallout series exactly?
Yeah, I think there's 4 coming out at the beginning. One of them has like 2 with the helmet on and with the helmet off. I don't know how much you know about it, but because of the suits and the helmets and stuff, you're hiding the stars, the actors that people are relating to. So you can't, it's not really easy to do helmets and toys because you either, to get it right, because the hair won't crunch. And if you've got any kind of padding, that wasn't crunch because you're dealing with plastic on plastic. You either have to have a normal size head and a big helmet, or you have to have a normal size helmet, and when you take it off, you have to have a little bit of a pea head. So we decided that we would just manufacture 2 different ones, put them out there.
Okay, so let's talk about the movies. We've heard a lot of talk about superhero fatigue in the last few years, and Marvel and DC are both pumping the brakes on their cinematic universes. But I want to know, how is the Spawn adaptation setting itself apart?
The team we're hoping for right now is that we will kind of be in the right place at the right time. And here's why I say that. We all have always, from the very get-go, have always wanted to do an R-rated movie, right? Period. Done. Out. So just that sets you apart from a lot of the superhero fare that's out there. And I'm not saying that's better or worse. I'm just saying it's different, right? You can't do Marvel Light. I don't think you can do Marvel Light or DC Light and succeed. I think people will just go, well, why not just get the real thing? So we know we have to go to R, but I don't think that there are that many characters that can live in that space and it makes sense. But that's what we want to do. We want to do something off on the edges that will be risky. I guess that's the word. And everybody's pumping in that direction. And if we do that right with the success of Joker 2 and Deadpool, it should be good timing. Fingers crossed. That's the theory.
Well, clearly Jason Blum also thinks it's a great time for a Spawn movie to come. And now he said, like, obviously the Blumhouse version, this will be the Blumhouse version of a superhero movie, but I'm curious, like, how hard are you guys actually leaning into all the, like, horror elements that Spawn brings with it?
Here's the movie we talk about a lot when we're talking about it is, and it's an old movie, so maybe a lot of people haven't seen it, there was a movie when I was a kid called Rosemary's Baby. What was, to me, so intriguing about that movie, even as a kid, was that it was just kind of oddish as you're watching it, and then you're just going, I don't really understand sort of what's going on, and then you thought you were watching one type of movie, and then by the end you went, oh my gosh, what? So Scott wants people to, at the end of it, to be sort of frozen in their seats for a moment. Not only with the experience of the 2 hours, but with the ending, and to just go, whoa, and then walk out, and then go, well, that opens up a can of worms, and then hopefully we come back a couple years later and make the sequel.
Well, I mean, since we have you here, just tell us the whole story. Just give us the whole script as you remember it. You can let us know. This is a safe space.
I haven't read it myself, so I couldn't even give it to you. But I could make it up if you guys need to fill time. I'm a good storyteller. Yeah.
Oh, I would love just a creative, just mind dump from what's in your head for what a Spawn movie would be. And obviously, I'm expecting right at the end to see something that's just Spawn will return. Can we get that? Is that a promise?
Yes, and I can't promise that the last line isn't, "That'll do, pig. That'll do."
Well, if you want to get your hands on any of the figures you see in front of me, and lots more, McFarlane Toys, you can find them wherever toys are sold. Todd, thank you so much again, and congratulations. What a wonderful way to celebrate 30 years of McFarlane Toys.
I love Splinter Cell. Conviction, which is probably my least favorite in the mainline series, only because it's more of an action game than a stealth game.
But you're right, it is more actiony. And you know what? I like that, Ryan. I think it's cool to have big moments where you can execute everybody in a room.
It's not an action game.
You can
It's a
bust
stealth
in,
game.
execute everybody in a room
one
that
stupid
you've marked.
button. I had to stop
And it's
myself from
great.
cursing.
But if you want the Splinter Cell
Hey, look how
experience,
dumb that
you
is.
It's awesome!
Podcast Unlocked has something Xbox for everyone.
The world's #1 Xbox podcast.
So what are you waiting for? Tune in every Tuesday and join us on Podcast Unlocked, IGN's Xbox show.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection of the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to. IGN Playlist, check it out.
6 years ago, while talking about Sonic on Game Scoop, Brian, you had this to say.
Real point where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise.
Wow. It was never really a good franchise, huh, Brian? Well, I'm sorry. We're well over, believe it or not, 100 Sonic games, 2 movies, a long-running comic book series, and 6 shows. When you besmirch Sonic, you besmirch everyone associated with Sonic, okay, Brian? Brian, I want to present you with this.
I will hold that L. I was wrong. I have since come around on that character. I have watched the movies with my kid and enjoyed them immensely. Sonic Frontiers is fun. I liked Sonic Colors. I liked Sonic Generations. I liked Sonic Mania. Something we can all agree on is that Sonic has been good. It's Crash Bandicoot that's never been good.
Oh, okay, here we go.
If you enjoyed that, check out full episodes of Beyond, IGN's PlayStation show, as we talk, argue, and goof on everything PlayStation. New episodes drop every Tuesday on IGN.com and IGN Games on YouTube.
Whoa, welcome back. You're rocking with IGN Fan Fest 2024, the most concentrated dose of fandom you can get in one place this side of Comic-Con.
Okay, well, you got a concentrated dose of something. We just got a look at new collectibles from Todd McFarlane based on various IPs, including the new Fallout TV series. You'll definitely want to keep an eye on the IGN store. We have a bunch of exclusive merch on the way. It's a secret and it's coming soon, but once the vaults open, you'll be the first to know if you get my hint.
That is so exciting. That's at store.ign.com, so get your wallets and wardrobes ready. Coming up, before seeing what's at stake in Anne Rice's interview with the vampire and getting real with the folks behind Imaginary.
But right now, it's time for Battle Crush. Check it out.
Home run!
Oh
my god!
Oh my god. Battle Crush is a multiplayer action brawl game supporting up to 30 players in one game. You'll become a Calixer, a hero chosen by the gods, who must fight against other players and become the last hero or team standing. There are 3 different game modes to jump into to prove your mettle: Battle Royale, 1v1s, and Brawl. We don't have enough time to play the Battle Royale mode today, so instead, we're jumping into Team Brawl. So please join me in welcoming Nikki Taylor, Justin Wong, and Chris Heroes. Now, some of you got to check out the first beta. How did you feel about Battle Crush's Battle Royale mode?
The Battle Royale mode was really fun because I actually played with 2 of my mods, and we were just trying to like form a strategy, trying to be the last like remaining team because it's like 30 people, so it's like 10 teams. But my favorite character I was playing was Siri, the Brachiosaurus. He was really fun. I think his like fastballs are really, really strong. They do a lot of damage, so that's my guy. I love the range characters in this game.
What it kind of stood out to me is also what got mentioned already, that you had to build team comms. I feel like that usually doesn't happen in other battle royales. Like, it's really important. You have some frontline, you have maybe a support, and then one like damage dealer. But there's also some cheesy strategies. Like, I had one time where we ran 3 invisible characters, and we just always ganged up onto one person. And so it had a lot of variety, which I really, really enjoyed.
Characters are cute. I like the bright colors. I enjoy battle royales. I'm ready to win some games.
Well, let's jump into Team Brawl and see who's the best Calixer out there. It's time to brawl in Battle Crush.
Battle Crush!
I need to try to petrify y'all.
No, I mean...
Look into my eyes.
Not me, please. No.
Look into my eyes.
Bam. Hiya.
Eep, eep.
Oh, you have no stamina. Oh, I missed everything. You missed also everything. We're both bad.
We do.
No, okay, I'm terrified. Okay. Oh, I have a huge ultimate. Oh my.
Wow.
What is that?
Oh, whoa. That range looks so big.
Oh my god.
A team member died.
No.
No. That can only be one Poseidon. You got no stem again.
No!
Yes.
Oh my god.
No.
No.
How'd you jump?
I almost fell off.
You have no stamina. But now you're gone, surely.
Now I'm gone.
Yeah,
I almost literally
okay.
walked off the plank type of thing. I didn't want to walk off the plank.
Oh.
Ow. Yo, back up. Let the ace picture
I'm
rock.
trying.
Whiffed.
No, what is that? I don't know what that is. Oh my. I just saw a huge circle. Mate's gone.
Team member died. It's Mean X. I didn't die.
Take on the other Poseidon. No. I'm petrified. No. Goodbye.
Oh.
Got both of you?
God. No.
Wow.
But Nikki's still on Poseidon. No, you have to go. You have to go. You had to go.
There's no more Poseidon.
You lasted longer than Poseidon. You lasted longer than me, so you're the better Poseidon.
You're the Poseidon.
Yeah.
I'm just by myself. IGN 2. Not like this. Let me rock. Oh my god.
Chill.
Got you. No, I have no stamina. Okay.
We got smoked right there.
Ultimate. Oh, you dodged it. I got IGN. Nikki?
No.
Goodbye. Is there one more? Do you have one more character? Oh, you have one more character. Uh-oh. Scary, scary.
The struggle.
Oh.
Okay. Wait, is there only one left? Oh, there's only one circle left soon.
Is it just one circle? That's crazy.
No! Please. Uh-oh.
It's
getting close.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm 1v2 though.
But you just need one home run, unless you get attack off.
Oh! Home run!
Oh,
I got the home run! I got the home run. That's why Danny's the last one. Oh my.
That was a hard-fought battle. What did you guys think?
I got dandied is what happened to me. A little salty about it. It's supposed to be easy when it's 2-on-1, but clearly not when you get dandied. No hesitation.
It's just so fun. It's so much action, so fast as well, and just having to also switch multiple characters out. I really like that you have one life on each character, and you can kind of also make a strategy around it. And, you know, having Dandy like for that small area in the end, like his entire baseball bat just takes the entire area off, just felt absolutely amazing.
It got really hard to manage the stamina, right? Because a lot of times, one time I fell off the cliff, I drowned, right? And once you get out, you can't really use jump back. So it was really, really tough, but it was so fun, especially seeing Chris as Dandy just hit a home run on both characters. That was so sick.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to try Battle Crush out early, check out the beta test starting March 21st, available on PC and Android. Become a Calyxer and fight for glory in NCSoft's Battle Crush, coming to PC, Android, iOS, and then expanding into consoles. And for more on Battle Crush, stay tuned to IGN.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacob Anderson and I play Louis de Poindulac on Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. And in season 2, we're heading to Paris. We have a lot of surprises in store for you, and it's in a great new setting in Europe. And I'm very excited for you to see when it premieres on May 12th on AMC and AMC Plus. We're very proud of it. Until then, here's a new sneak peek of an exclusive clip only for IGN Fan Fest. So enjoy.
What are you looking for when you take a picture?
I don't know. Surprise, baby. Something off. Like a hat that's too small for a head. Someone realizing they forgot to do something and they stop.
Okay.
Then you can get mindful about it. Ask yourself what brought them here. What brought you here? Is it coming together random? Choreographed? The metro late for him? The rain?
Sometimes I want the short answer. You listen to their thoughts. You know what's coming. You take the picture.
Well, if you knew the answer, why'd you ask?
Is it coming together random, choreographed?
Let a brother primp a bit. Let me think I'm deeper than I am.
Is that how you sell yourself?
I'm just trying to get through nice, sis. I shortcut it. You caught me. Take the win.
Who are you, Louis?
I'm your brother.
Who are you outside of me?
I'm the reticent vampire of the night there on Dismal. I walk the night capturing disappointment and regret as only the reticent vampire can.
If there was no me, and there was no him, who would you be? What do you want? How you gonna get there?
She had a point.
Yes?
Paris sucks.
That's not the point she was making.
Sure it is. She's miserable, but she doesn't want to fuck with your too delusional left bank dilettante vibe.
She wasn't telling me something I didn't know about myself. She was giving me permission to explore a life apart from her.
It's Alice, Louis, not Claudia.
Excuse me?
Oh, I see. I've triggered a memory.
No, it's Claudia. It's her journal. Louis needs Paris.
It's 1985. You and Alice are at a brasserie talking past each other, and she tells you she's pregnant.
The fishing rod in the head again?
And you say, yeah. Let's talk about it later tonight.
I gotta knock out another chapter. One a week. I leave before the bill is paid. I never finish the novel. I think it was the yeah that pissed her off most. Yeah?
Hi, IGN Fan Fest. I'm DeWanda Wise.
I'm Piper Braun.
I'm Tegan Burns.
And I'm director, co-writer, and producer. That's a lot of jobs. Jeff Wadler.
Please check out this exclusive clip from our new movie, Imaginary.
And be sure to check it out March 8th, only in theaters.
Enjoy the clip. I'm nervous. Promise it won't hurt? Okay.
Invincible is the heartwarming tale of a kid growing into adulthood, figuring out his own potential as the uncomfortable truth that his father, the man he always idolized, is actually a violent, murderous, lying alien who leagues of other violent, murderous aliens want to murder violently. We are joined today by Invincible creator Robert Kirkman and co-showrunner Simon Rasiopa. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today.
Right? Woohoo! Ready to be here.
Yay! Insert applause here. We're alone in a room. So I'm so happy you're both here.
They can't pipe in applause after this?
They might.
That's going to be super awkward.
I'll sit in. I'll make sure they do it.
Too much.
But seriously, though, Invincible is truly one of my favorite shows. I do watch it for free when I'm not on the clock, and it has one of the best casts out there today. And we do have an exclusive clip to share from season 2, part 2. But right before we get into that, I want to pick up from where we left off in part 1. While Nolan is a major subject and source of heartache for Debbie and Mark and the world, we really didn't see him until the very end of part 1. And when we did, Omni-Man came off as much more sympathetic than when a similar reappearance happened in the original comic version. Can you speak to that change? Do you view this as a course correction, or what was the choice in this revision?
A softening of Omni-Man, if you will. I don't know. I mean, it's possible that we maybe over anticipated the audience's acceptance of him, of the softer side of Nolan, and so we went a little bit harder on explaining his motivations and showing a little bit more of what was going on with him inside. I mean, the comic doesn't have that brilliant scene where you see him leave the Earth and what he's going through and everything, and I think that really did a lot of heavy lifting as far as showing kind of another side of what was going on there and kind of who he is. So I can see that as being a little bit little bit softer than what we did in the comics.
Also, I think we show a lot more of him in the end of season 1 when he reveals his true self. Like he's worse, I think. Maybe not worse in the show than in the books, but we show more of it. So he's sort of like, he's in a deeper hole we have to show him in, to get him out of there. So the audience doesn't hate him going forwards forever.
There's a big arc that he's going to be going through. There's a lot of talk of Amazon and their evil Superman with Homelander and Omni-Man and stuff. And I think that there's a big difference in what we're trying to do with Omni-Man and who he is as a character. It's reductive to just refer to him as an evil Superman. He is not an evil character.
Well, we're going to be talking more about that later. But first, what I want to do is I did promise there would be a clip.
Oh, boy.
Let's see that clip.
Let's do it.
Mark. Nolan. Where's Nolan?
The Viltrumites took him. I'm sorry. The city, these people, it's all our fault.
Mark, you saved my life. And your brother's.
If my dad and I hadn't been here, none of this would have happened.
If your father hadn't been here, I wouldn't have a son. And if you hadn't been here, we both would have died. Thraxan lives are short compared to yours. Our culture doesn't assign blame. We only look forward. We will rebuild, Mark. Count on that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So many claps.
Yes. Well, we see the natural continuation of what's happened once the Viltrumites came by for a little visit.
Not ideal for any civilization when they visit.
Not anyone's favorite, but we do know that season 2 is very much about Mark fearing that he's just like his father and becoming him and him going through that. But in some ways, Nolan is softening a bit, as we discussed. He's a little bit more like Mark. Do you think he's a different person now than who we all expect him to be?
I think that there's something that he's really going through here, which is he spent a lot of time on Earth and he learned their ways and had this relationship with Debbie and really was present for the raising of Mark, which, as we get deeper into the series, we'll reveal what life is like on the Viltrum planet, and you'll see how different it is. And it's these differences between Earth and Viltrum that are kind of weighing on him. He is thousands of years old, and, he has the Viltrum way of life ingrained in him, but this tiny experience with Earth life, has affected him in a very tangible way, and, is changing him, not to reveal too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think he's struggling with that too.
Yeah.
He's not sure who he is right now. He's going through changes that he's never experienced before, emotionally, and that's a challenging thing for anyone.
Is there a path kind of to redemption for him at this point? Is there a way back, let's say, since he's not really quite a true Viltrumite anymore?
I mean, that's a good question. I think that's a question to ask the audience. Yeah. I think everyone has a different view on that. Is like, can you come back from what he's done? From the deaths he's caused, all the people he murdered in Chicago at the end of last season, what he did to Debbie, what he did to Mark, what he did to other people's families. Can you come back from that? I think it's something we're going to explore. I think we do explore, but I think the answer of like yes or no, that's everyone's got their own view on that.
It's a very great question or answer.
I'll never forgive him.
No?
Never.
Okay. That's the headline we're going to run with.
Nolan Grayson, you're dead to me.
He's dead to most people on Earth. Touching back on the topic of adaptation, is there anything you'd wanted to change or made a specific point to change from the comics to the animated series?
For the most part, we're trying to stay true to the comics, but we have this opportunity, Simon and I, when we're mapping out these stories and figuring things out, it's, what we mainly do is we try to find bits of the comic that we can expand, that we can deepen, that we can, find more nuance in, pump more emotion into, make the action scenes a little bit more visceral. It's nice to be able to have this 144 issue run where I can sit in the room and go, okay, the audience reacted to this way, and we got a lot of letters about this, and people felt this way about this scene, and they felt this way about that scene, because, in comics, you go to Comic-Con every year, it's constant feedback. We always do a letters column in all of my books, and so we're getting letters from the fans, and so we have from the comics essentially like a think tank of people that have weighed in, a focus group, if you will, and so we were able to use that to kind of help us guide the stories. And I like to think of it as like putting a little bit more oomph in the story.
Yeah, it's kind of like, most stories don't get that chance to have another draft even.
Yeah, or most people do that before they put the comic out, but not me. First drafts and then I'm out. I don't do the second draft until we do the adaptation.
An important character we know who's just waiting to reappear is Angstrom Levy, played by Sterling K. Brown. Is the idea of different multiversal versions of Angstrom, or even his son, or the idea of vengeance against versions of Mark and Nolan, just something that's going to keep recurring in the series?
I think that's Angstrom's story, really, is that, he was this altruistic, meaning well guy that wanted to use his abilities to save the world, and through his own actions that got corrupted. And the thing that corrupted it was his knowledge of who Invincible is in the other dimensions. And so the fact that Invincible ends up being not a very good guy in so many different instances, has given him a skewed perspective on who Invincible is. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's really interesting. We're in this dimension watching Invincible going, hey, he's a good guy, he's a hero, he's got his own show, this is great. But if you, could peer into the multiverse and see all these other versions, you'd be like, wait a minute, this guy's an anomaly. Most Invincibles are terrible. And so in that respect, I love that Angstrom is a villain where there's some nuance to him. He isn't necessarily evil. He may actually be correct in a certain way. So, that's something that's interesting to follow. And, we'll see him again sooner than you think.
Mm-hmm. Good. I was hoping that. But with him comes the idea of traveling multiverses. And there's a lot to work with there, especially considering the Invincible comic crossovers. For instance, Invincible has crossed paths with The Tick, Batman, the Avengers, and Spider-Man. My question is, are we going to get the Spider-Man crossover? Are we going to get to see pictures of Spider-Man?
Would that we could pull the powers of Amazon and Disney and Marvel and everybody together. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? But I wouldn't count on it.
Okay.
And that's not a tease.
I had to ask. And I wouldn't be a responsible journalist if I didn't have that outburst just now.
No. I wholeheartedly support it.
And I do have to ask, because it has popped up recently, that Steven said he would like to be in the Invincible movie, but not as Mark, since they're different ages. What is the status of the Invincible movie?
It's going through the pipeline slowly. The strikes and everything kind of put a pause on things for a while, and we're just now getting back into that, and it's all very exciting. But it's not something that we're rushing. It's something that we definitely want to get right. Now that the show is out and the animated series is doing well, we're trying to figure out ways to make sure that it stands apart. Like works in tandem with the show to show how cool Invincible is and doesn't detract from it in any way. And so there's a lot of maneuvering that has to go into that, and so it is taking a little bit of time. But I can't wait for everyone to see Stephen Yeun as Cecil Stedman.
Oh, that's where you would cast him?
Sure, great.
Is it that far down the line that he would be as old as Cecil?
It's entirely possible.
Oh, no.
Maybe not.
What would a live action version of Invincible accomplish that an animated version, especially a serialized animated version, could not?
I wouldn't want to reveal that per se, but I think there's a lot of different things that you can accomplish in live action. There's a lot of different audience that you can reach that you can't reach in animation, unfortunately. And I just think that there's there's just different things. There's a different feel from the story that you'll get in live action that you may not necessarily get in animation. And they're also two completely different things. And so I like the idea of, the Invincible comic is one thing, the Invincible animated series is one thing, and the Invincible live action thing will be a completely different thing.
The musical is going to be a totally different thing on its own too. Yeah.
Simon, don't joke like that. I would really love an Invincible musical.
Do one of the songs.
Oh, you want me to do one of the songs? Trash bag in the air. Here come my powers. I'm so happy. Sorry, is that good? That's one of the numbers. It's one of the opening numbers.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have, but it was time very well spent. Thank you both, Robert and Simon, for your time. And for those of you who don't have multiversal travel technology, so you can go somewhere that Invincible Season 2 Part 2 is already out, you can catch it on Prime Video on March 14th.
Soon you will bow before its rubble, quivering at the feet of Doc Seismic!
Jeez, Doc Seismic. Look alive, squad. You're kind of all over the place lately. What exactly do you have a problem with? It's time to earn those government paychecks.
You dare attempt to resist? Fine! Face me, agents of a self-appointed administration!
Hey you! Get close to me! We got this!
I've expanded my army from the underground all the way to the skies!
IGN Fan Fest is winding down for today, but we still have one very cool surprise in store.
We're not going to show it to you just yet, not until you've signed up for IGN Rewards, the totally free members-only experience that'll score you exclusive deals, discounts, and giveaways, as well as taking a look at all the awesome perks IGN Plus subscribers get, like ad-free viewing, free games, unlimited Map Genie access, and so much more.
You can find out more by heading to ign.com/rewards and ign.com/plus. You seem trustworthy, so we'll assume that you held up your end of the deal.
Either way, here's a reward for any fans of High on Life. Take a look.
That was a look at High on Life's brand new physical release right here on IGN Fan Fest. And as much as we'd love to keep hanging out with y'all, well, it's time for us to call it a day.
It's a day, but tomorrow is also a day, and we'll be back with tons more great stuff, including The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Invincible, WWE 2K24, and the biggest sandworm of them all, Dune 2. It all kicks off right here tomorrow, Saturday, February 24th. Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Doing tomorrow? So that worked, but like it actually physically hurt me. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here at FanFest. Without you, FanFest would just be called Fest, and that just really doesn't have the same ring to it. Like IGN presents Fest, it just doesn't work.
No, I think we could actually make it work if we really wanted to, Alan. Anyways, we'll see you all right here tomorrow for more IGN Fan Fest. Thank you all so much for watching.
IGN has the most thorough, easy-to-use, and high-tech maps out there, period. And by high-tech, we mean it. We've recently added features like personal notes that save to your IGN account, and a region selection tool that lets you cruise around the biggest maps with ease. IGN maps load faster with more markers than ever, and are built for your phone as your constant companion to the biggest games. So start checking off markers for the games you are playing for free at IGN Maps today.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection of the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to. IGN Playlist, check it out.
Tune into IGN 1 on your smart TVs for the latest news on your favorite releases, gameplay exclusives, and all the entertainment you can handle.
Cinefix on IGN 1, your friendly Friday night home for film fanaticism.
You're watching The Weekly Fix, ready to fill you in on anything you may have missed in the world of gaming and entertainment.
Welcome to Should I Play This? This is what to watch here on IGN 1.
Find it all in one place for free on IGN 1.
They turned into a network. Who knew?
Behind every game, movie, and TV show you love is a wild, crazy, and sometimes unbelievable story.
No one is just black and white.
From revealing the secrets behind your favorite franchises to solving a legendary video game mystery, I'm coming for you. IGN Inside Stories gives you a peek behind the curtain.
If people come to the game now and see what's going on there, I think they'll be surprised.
Join us as we dive into hyper-dedicated fan bases, worldwide phenomenons, and the most incredible untold tales in games and entertainment.
I said, wait a minute, that doesn't sound so good.
It was definitely not what I expected in the best way.
Inside Stories, available now only on IGN.
And I was like, holy shit, we're gonna do this.